shouting loud on a Friday night. Heather's got the news, what a crazy sight. Connor with the drop kick, what a fight. Canadian basement, yeah, he's always right. We don't give a damn, no bucks given. Talking all the shit, living how we're living. Wrestling stories, fly truths and lines. Turning up the volume, breaking all ties. Gina's got the scoop, straight from the core. Ray Sean with the facts, shaking to the floor. Trek's got the passion, ready to explore. Riding through the chaos, always wanting more. We don't give a damn, no bucks given. Talking all the shit, living how we're living. Wrestling stories, fly truths and lies. Turning up the volume, breaking all ties. Microphone warriors in the dead of night. Voices rough and raw, never out of sight. Standing tall together, always in the fight. Screaming from the rooftops, tearing up the...
Is going on, everybody? Welcome back to No Bucks Given right here on the Horny Goat YouTube channel. It is a show where we discuss anything and everything going on in the world today, and all its crazy calamity in between. We got the usual crew here. We got myself, we got Basement, we got Hada, we got JP. How's everyone doing this fine evening?
I'm doing all right. As good as the Whistler.
I am not feeling the greatest.
A little off on your rizziness.
Fuck the Whistler.
Yeah, he's a kid. Don't
Fuck
get in trouble.
I do not fucking care.
Yeah, well, he's a kid, so you should.
Punch that kid in the face. I just, every time he fucking does that, I just want to beat him up. I just don't care. He's one of those kids that would have got beaten up when I went to school.
He would have got beaten up, and then all of a sudden he'd be like the biggest, whitest man on the football team that's just trying to get his grades up and just showed up because he loves football. You know.
Yeah.
Is this Rudy? Is this Rudy?
Oh, this is Remember
okay.
the Titans.
Oh, okay.
We are going to get your grades up. I know you just love football.
Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans. So you're trying to take
Is this Boom Jay's fucking kid or something?
Yeah.
Or?
No, he's some other person's kid that he just like absorbed him into their clan. Did you see? It's like one of the worst things ever. They were doing like I think they were doing a live stream. These Walmart guys, and someone like donated to them, and it's like, my brother just died. I'm feeling pretty bad, and this guy, zero emotion behind his eyes. He's like, "Oh, I was sorry to hear about your brother dying. That gets 5 booms from us. Boom, boom." I'm gonna see if I can find this shit because it is hilariously bad.
Like, why would you do that?
They get you 5 booms. Oh, that is El Terrible. I feel like there's a lot of shit to talk about tonight, or at least that's been going on in the world this week or so. It's at least the last 48 hours have been interesting for all you social media buffs out there.
You want to talk about TikTok right away?
Might as well snag that algorithm while we fucking can.
So, all right, we'll talk about it. Don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, so JP's done.
Well,
no,
I don't have TikTok. I don't have TikTok, so I don't. It doesn't affect me one way or the other.
Okay.
And all of these people crying about I want to talk. This is what I do want to fucking say about it.
You don't care.
Are you people fucking jumping on fucking Twitter and saying, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life without fucking TikTok? Y'all need to be put in, y'all need to be put on a fucking island by your fucking self and try to figure out how to fucking make it in life.
Right.
Because you are
you-
fucking dumb.
But you don't care.
I don't, because I cannot have the app. It is against the law for me to have the app. I'm a federal employee. I cannot have the app.
Right. I understand that. I just want to reiterate.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I care about is people are stupid enough to think that it. Oh my god! I cannot stand looking at this guy.
This is it.
I cannot stand looking at. Look at this guy.
I'm so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 Oh, we're so sorry to
Look at
hear
his
about
eyes.
your brother that passed away. He gets 5
Absolutely
big
nothing.
Boom!
Nothing.
They've become the same fucking. It's like they're made at Costco.
Yes.
that's a great comparison. That is a great comparison. Okay, so JP, you got your thoughts on that one. Heather, basement. I know Heather. Obviously, Heather and I are on TikTok.
Basement.
You're not.
Oh, I fucking hate TikTok. I fucking hate TikTok. I've hated TikTok since the first time it ever existed. It was nothing but a clone of Vine. There's a reason Vine had to go because all it did was perpetuate idiots. It's like, oh my god, here's a viral trend of me doing some of the stupid shit ever. Then watch every single other person on this planet do the exact same fucking thing over and over and over again. Yes, there's a couple probably gems on TikTok, but
So did you put it in there? Or did I find it on Twitter where this woman actually jumped on there and she goes, usually me and my husband, we go out for Sunday lunch. And he said, I think we're going to have to stop going to Sunday lunch because we can't afford Twitter, or, TikTok. They're like, well, now that Trump is taking over, we're probably going to have to get a job. We couldn't live off the government. We were living off the government while Biden was the fucking president. Why would I want to work if the government's going to hand me fucking money? Like, this was a real fucking thing. And I swear to God, when I watch this, I'm like, this is why Trump won the fucking election. That fucking video is the exact reason why Trump won the election. The United States has become, here, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you this.
How did we get here?
It's the whole Kamala Harris. We're going to give you $25,000 to start a business. I'm not going to start a fucking business.
We got
back up.
We got here
I'm just
from
going to take $25,000.
we got here from people not being once TikTok got shut down. It was people being like, now I have to get a job. And it was related to I was living off government wages while I'm being on TikTok and not claiming the money I might be making on TikTok. That's just like I think TikTok. It's a tool like any other, but it does. Connor, I don't know, but you might be riding a warthog.
Oh, well.
It's a low flying plane he was talking about last
It's
time.
angry.
It's angry.
No, when it comes to TikTok, I see it's much more negative than it is positive.
Absolutely.
And I think because it just like, I mean, the amount of TikToks I see that are just like, they get posted on Twitter and it's just clickbait. It's like, just wait until you see the end. And then TikTok all of a sudden became a thing where now you have these women, and I say women, like 35, 40-year-old women, just smiling and laughing at somebody else's content, split screen. What is this? What is this?
It's a new version of reactionary videos, don't you know?
You can see the future.
But there's no... You could copy and paste that reaction of smiling and laughing to 98% of videos they put on there.
And they have.
Yeah,
You're bitching about... Okay, hold on a fucking second.
I'm bitching about, like, ADHD brain land.
I got you. Aaron, I'm going to hunker down for the next 2 days, expecting a high of 39. I wish it was fucking 39 here. It's going to be negative 39 fucking degrees here tomorrow.
Yeah, we're getting close to a foot of snow
Raining about
here.
39, I would be wearing shorts and fucking a tank top in 39 degrees weather right now.
Yeah, we got
The
a
cops
cold
told
snap.
them to stop.
You guys can have all that shit down there. You can have it. I don't want it.
Just give me
Christmas is
45.
over. Christmas is over here.
It's
Give me at
weird
least
too.
45 degrees.
I think
right
I'm
now.
I'm much more like Rayshawn, where I would rather live in a colder climate, not fucking frigid, but like a climate that is relatively cooler than warm. Once it hits like 30 degrees Celsius in the heat for us here, I'm like, yeah, I don't want any of that. I think I'm good with that. Keep that
Yeah.
fucking sun outside. You know what they should have a fucking holiday for? The person that invented fucking air conditioner.
Yes.
People don't know how to act when you hear, ever since COVID, every time somebody's, oh my God, it's going to be negative 39 degrees out. We need to go to the store and buy all the fucking toilet paper. Why? It's only going to last for a couple of fucking days.
Just take a
Yeah,
shit
especially if it's
outside.
taco night.
If you need toilet paper, get some toilet paper. It's not going to, these fucking people drive me fucking nuts. They come out, they fucking buy all the fucking rice. Like during COVID, people were buying all of the fucking rice. They were buying all of the fucking noodles. And it's like, you go to the store and it's like, there should be angel hair pasta somewhere. You get there? Nope.
There's not
nothing.
any pasta left in the pasta aisle.
There's no rice. There's no, I mean, there was one time where I had to buy I bought a big bag of rice. Just because I didn't think we were going to fucking be able to have fucking rice. You couldn't cook that shit. But by God, we bought rice. It's fucking, people that just go and buy shit, to fucking do that is fucking mind-numbingly stupid. It only lasts for a couple of days. A big snowstorm, in 2 days, you will be able to go and do things.
Not in the day after tomorrow.
So anyway,
Everybody thinks that when they get a big snowstorm, it's the day after tomorrow.
it's actually tonight. And anyway, so like we were talking about, TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know. We're all over the place. TikTok. I wish it kind of stayed dead. Personally.
Kind of same, to be honest with you, even though I'm on it and I post on it, not very regularly, but just for funsies.
Just relax here, and I get it. I'm just being a smart ass.
Like, I guess the bigger question is like, for the reasons they're trying to close down TikTok, A, do you think it's legit? And
Yes.
B, do you think that this might open the door for other apps in terms of like some sort of restrictions or limitations like that in the country in the future?
So really,
And this is a question for everybody, not just JB, everyone in chat.
Who owns TikTok?
Some Chinese
Singapore,
Yeah. Some Asian guy. I saw
company.
him like
Yep.
being tried in
It's
court
a
for a little bit.
Chinese-run business.
So is a lot of things.
What is China? China, it's propaganda.
It can be used for. It's a tool. I don't know.
So they're
I've never
what
looked at
they're
any TikTok
doing-
video
what
and saw
they're
propaganda.
doing- it's a national security issue here in the United States.
But how is it one and YouTube Shorts aren't?
Because YouTube is owned by America. Big
That's
difference.
It doesn't really
Owned by an
matter.
American company. If TikTok was owned by an American company, we wouldn't be having this issue.
Still could be.
Because
I don't think it
China
matters.
is trying to infiltrate our system. They're
Chinese.
trying to manipulate. It's hard to explain. You have to
They're
watch.
bypassing Facebook. That's
I know the ongoing thing is like this is how we use TikTok in China, and people are learning how to do all these fucking things. This is how we use it in America, and it's just
Hey,
ass is shaking and people eating Tide Pods.
exactly. What's up, Frank? The harsh truth
What's up,
in the
Frank?
Chizat along with
Frank,
the
what
Russian
do you
Jew.
think of TikTok being shut down? Would you
by the
like
way-
it to stay that way, or are you happy it's back, or do you not
I
give a
think-
fuck?
I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to catch it, but actually, I think Frank did a new show on his channel. I think it's called Truth News. I want to say. I hope I got that right. It was a live stream earlier, so go give it some love and check it out.
Who knew?
So
But yeah.
so it is justified. It was found by the Supreme Court that it was justified. So,
But why is it back then?
Yep, that's my question.
so Trump is allowing it to be back for 90 days while ultimately what it's going to come down to is TikTok is going to have to be bought by an American company in order for TikTok to stay liable in the United States.
It's
Or
weird to
become
me.
publicly traded.
It's got to be. It's because the United States does not want China getting involved. It's hard to explain. It's a national security issue. We as federal employees are not allowed to have it. We cannot have if they found out I had TikTok, fired on the spot.
My thing is with TikTok. To me, it's not like a new idea. It's not an idea that can't just be aped by a different company, and it's an idea that has already been aped by different companies with YouTube Shorts. Why not just transition to a different platform?
It's an operation security issue for the United States. So the reason that I say that is foreign entities, and I just had to sit through a fucking 2-hour class for this shit. Foreign entities are trying to infiltrate and manipulate federal employees. And it has happened before, espionage, to turn on their government, and they'll give them a sum of money to fucking give up secrets. It's happened.
But I don't understand
So
why this.
that is why they are banning TikTok in the United States. It's a national security issue.
I'm gonna come.
I'm trying to
It
think
is
of
what it
like.
is.
But how did they come back then? Oh, yeah, I already said you said Trump. Whatever.
Trump lifted the ban for 90 days to see if he could get. The government isn't going to run it. I don't want the government running fucking TikTok. I don't want the government running anything. I want the government to fucking run this country. I want them to actually do what they're supposed to fucking do.
So
And that is to make laws. That is to make laws and make sure the American people are taken care of and protected. That is the government's fucking job. That is it. That is really the only thing the government should fucking do. Yes, there is certain things like regulations. They have to regulate the FCC and all that shit. Got it. But then they start dipping their fucking hands in that. It's a fucking bureaucratic bullshit in Washington, D.C. It is what it is. That's why Trump isn't going to be the president of the United States, because they want him to fucking finish the job that he was trying to finish when Biden won. He's not gonna finish the job.
So I got a question, right? Because and this is kind of to what you're saying, but also to what Frank's saying in the chat. Yeah, they use the data to influence the users, but that's literally every company known to mankind.
And every company, even the American ones, have been sued for that and put under heavier regulations.
Which is why
those regulations, in my opinion, don't fucking exist. Because anybody can pick up their phone and it fucking knows what I was talking about 2 seconds before I pick it up, and it's then selling it to me. It's 100% true.
It does happen.
It happens to me all the fucking time. It's 100% true. I'll be searching something on my work computer, not even logged in.
You to say anything. They could be a commercial on TV.
Yeah.
And your speaker on your phone just happens to be active at that moment.
So the influence exists everywhere, and I understand you don't want a foreign entity to have that kind of social influence on your specific place where you live. But it's also like kind of, I mean, for the long time there, like related, like China wouldn't allow fucking anything to happen that wasn't happening in China. Like communist China was like, nobody's gonna know about what we're doing. We're not gonna share any information what's happening here, and we're not gonna share information what's happening around the world, or try to like stop it as much as possible. It's a, I mean, regulations are a dangerous thing.
So I just know that it is Chinese it's CCP, China Communist Propaganda. That's what it's called.
Yeah, it does have the ability to be that. I can see that. But I mean, I think almost any platform does. I guess it's the ability to shut it down when it's home owned.
See, the biggest thing is India has hold over Facebook. So
I don't actually, I had a TikTok at one point, and there are some funny things on there, but you can get the same shit on YouTube Shorts.
That's what I mean.
You can get the same shit on fucking Facebook
Instagram Reels.
Yeah, it you get the same thing, and they're American run, and they have regulations that they have to follow. So there's that.
And couldn't there just be like an American version of TikTok, a branch in America that runs TikTok
There was
America?
one there was
TikTok.
one that started popping up today called Clapper.
Oh, that's
It's almost exactly the same format.
Clapper.
Yes, Clapper. I am not kidding you. Clapper.
ass clapper. No, I mean I just I know
If you post something, is it called a clap?
I mean,
Yes.
this is like it's a topic that I don't care about TikTok. I hope it never existed. Like I said before, I have
Yeah.
no use for it. If you want to watch like short clips of a longer video, go to YouTube Shorts. That's exactly what it is. This
Yes.
is like brain dead content. 98% of it, brain dead content made for brain dead people that can't
Watch
pay
me
attention
dance
to one
to this
thing.
challenge.
Let me talk
mean-
to you about something while someone plays one of those shitty ass mobile games on the
And
bottom
fucking
screen.
YouTube
On the left side
videos.
of the screen, there's a fucking mature woman laughing. It's like what is this? It's like a weird like weird distant future that I want no part of.
And yes. If people have to do that for people to pay attention to the videos and actually hear what they're putting out in the video, we're fucking screwed.
Yeah, not a fan of
I don't-
TikTok. I don't really care if it gets banned. I think there's again, it's one of those things that you get like a loud minority on. I think with TikTok.
There is a lot of people on there though.
I know, but the people that are like pulling their hair out over it being shut down.
They're the ones that are the influencers.
Those are
that
the
have been
ones that
there.
are making the money off of TikTok.
Yeah, that have been there since day one and have made up.
Those-
They've got
those-
these millions of followers.
Those
and
are the
now-
people
Move
complaining
to
about.
if you knew this was coming up, which you would have, start establishing a fan base on YouTube, on Twitch, on some other platform, so that you're not lambasted by the fact that you knew it was going to get banned like a year before it happened.
Yeah.
So fuck those people. They're just too stupid.
Mhm.
Don't care.
I mean, I've seen so many. I mean, Taco Reacts, Justin Dangerously, guys like that. They're also on Facebook and just as big on Facebook as they are on TikTok.
It's because they're doing all the platforms. They're sharing all
Exactly.
they're sharing it to all the
I mean,
platforms.
most people will start on one and spread out. So it's like, oh my god, one of my revenue streams is taken away, or I can no longer make beauty tips in my car. That is pretty much making me $50,000
While
a
I'm
year.
fucking driving.
Yeah.
Oh, another pedestrian. Chalk that one up. I swear.
Right.
No, not a big fan. I mean, I guess those are my thoughts on TikTok. I don't know. If,
Yeah, I don't. I just the people complaining about TikTok being taken away. You need to touch grass.
Seriously.
Yeah, Frank, man, that specifically,
Yeah.
people. Oh, I can't make money doing something that I shouldn't be able to make money at anyway. Is an argument that I think I can understand certain things because there's certain content creators out there that go the extra mile, and it is a job at that point. Like you're putting in that much work, that much effort, that much planning. I get it, but then there's the people that turn on the camera, shake their ass, or that fucking NPC girl,
Bad lip syncing.
that NPC girl that stands there, hair curler, nacho. What the fuck is
Yeah.
that?
How do you think I afforded Christmas this year?
Right.
You
Just take it.
whore.
So Connor, you haven't said anything.
So I'm kind of around the middle of TikTok's banning, in the sense of, am I going to be heartbroken that it's gone and like devastated? Obviously fucking not. There's going to be another social media platform that takes over. There's always going to be a new trend, new trendy thing, or trending platform. But like to everybody's point, YouTube's adapted it with the shorts, Instagram with the reels, Facebook with reels too. So like they've already adapted that same mainstream absorption of like content creation. So as long as people diversified and made sure that they had a stronger presence, then they would be fucking fine. I mean, TikTok's fine, but I will say on the same end, I can agree with the creators being kind of frustrated and pissed off when it's getting taken away for, in their eyes, bullshit reasons.
That last one was a banger.
I had a little something in my throat.
Jesus Christ, she's flying low tonight.
A lot of
Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, you're right. When it comes down to it, first it was Vine. That was just TikTok
Yeah.
1.0, and then it was
But
TikTok.
mine had better videos.
Wait,
It's the same
I think was there was Kick too. Don't forget Kick was around.
Yeah,
For a while.
and there's gonna be another one and another one. The thing is with TikTok too, and this is the one thing I saw. I can see like growth or attempts at growth with YouTube. It tried
Yeah.
to do YouTube
Yeah.
Red and YouTube content creator stuff, specific movies, things like that. Twitch, it dabbled into porn. It went
I
from
reported it immediately.
play games online to forget about playing games. Look at this relatively attractive woman flopping around in a baby pool.
I think the people who are smart content creators who are able to understand the way to maximize and optimize the platform to then diversify your attention. Markiplier is a big example of this, where he's very good at like making sure to like, oh hey, YouTube is blowing up, but I know that I can't rely on, in this case, it's usually the ad revenue. In this case, religiously. Let me go ahead and split this up into other areas and other
now Markiplier
pockets.
has more money than God, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter to him.
He's just making his own movie.
I just did a
Heroin.
poster for social media and human development and adolescence. And in my research, I have found that there's more bad things for Facebook because it takes away from the child actually doing their homework, hanging out with friends. But the good things about it is Facebook especially, you can keep in touch with your family that live long distances away.
That's the best thing about Facebook.
That's the best thing for what the platform is actually meant for. So when Facebook first started, Zuckerberg was a Harvard student, and it was a way for some of the kids in his class
I thought it was
to
like an
get
alien
together
Romulus
and
trait.
collaborate on some things for their assignments, for their projects, for their research papers or whatever. And that in itself is what Facebook is meant for. And I agree with the thought that Facebook should be used for, like, if Wendy has a project with Ackley, one of the kids that lives down the street from us, her best friend, if she's sick and they're doing a project together, Wendy can jump on Facebook with her and say, hey, we need to do this, and this, whatever, whatnot. I am all for that, but TikTok, definitely not a fucking platform that needs to be a thing, really, because it takes away. It's like Basement said, it is mind-numbing stupidity.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. It's people trying to. How these people became. There was one person that was crying on fucking Twitter about, I've lost $30,000 a month. You were making $30,000 a month off of TikTok?
Man, anything I see now on Twitter like that, engagement farming.
100%.
Is all I see. Nothing is real.
No. No.
And I mean, let's not talk about that. Like the nothing is real thing with TikTok, where everybody's doing these fucking skits, and it's like, it's not. First of all, it's not funny, but they're like, if it was real, wouldn't you be amazed? I'm like, well, it's not, because you act worse than fucking any porn star I've ever seen. So, what is this?
Right.
Terrible.
But TikTok.
Make sure you visit LaFonda and follow her on all her social media.
We're on TikTok. We're gonna get on TikTok in the next week, guys.
I'm not.
Time for it to be shut down. Let's go.
Oh, JP already posted clips of you on TikTok.
And I agree with you, Frank. 150,000%.
Yeah, I'm with you too. In terms of like the overreaction to it, I mean, like I said, I think it's gonna suck for some.
You need fucking help.
Well, I feel like, again, it's if the dependency on it is like a double-edged sword, where it's like, okay,
I think I told Heather today, or I must have just blurted it out. I watched this video, and I watched this video, and I'm like, the only reason that this person is bitching about fucking losing their fucking TikTok is they have no life skills, so they really can't get a fucking job. They did not graduate fucking high school, so they can't get a fucking job. In order to get a job in the United States, you have to either, Heather can vouch for this,
Yeah.
you either have to get a high school education or at least a GED to hold a job.
Or you
Or if
gotta
they-
find a girl on her knees. You didn't say what type of job.
So that's where I stand on TikTok. It's just grow up, people. Grow up.
wasn't your opening statement, I don't care?
I don't care about TikTok. I don't. But the people that are on there complaining about it,
I
20
care.
minutes
make this country look like a bunch of fucking morons.
I don't care about it, but I'll tell you why I don't care about it in the next 25 minutes.
Serious?
But I think I understand what he's saying. Like, it is like we're all on the same body side. I know me and JP are. I'm okay if it never existed or it doesn't continue to exist.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm interested to see the discourse about things like this because it is kind of interesting to see how many people have like very strange priorities with social media.
Well, my
yeah.
question my question is, do you think that they're going to start going after other social media platforms if things go in a similar route, like seeing that they have the power to pull
Only
this?
if they're foreign run.
I could see one thing I could see happening, because I mean this is what they tout is happening on Twitter as the free speech platform. I can see like more leniency in other social platforms, YouTube, for
Yeah.
you know getting rid of channels, banning people, doing all these like YouTube is the weirdest fucking thing in the world because
It
they'll come
is.
up with this new rule about algorithms where it's like you can't say fuck for 19 seconds at the beginning of the video. After that, the whole video can just be fuck 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 fuck. It's like, I just don't understand the need to micromanage video content like that, but to me, I could see.
I'll tell you why. The CEO of YouTube is a people pleaser, and she got too many parents saying, "Your platform is dirty. We're never letting our children watch it again."
So the woman that did that died. She's dead now.
What woman? The YouTube woman?
Yeah, the woman that was the CEO, she died of cancer. She died of brain cancer like last year.
Maybe she watched too much
How
TikTok.
do you feel now? You feel horrible?
No, not at all.
So I don't know how the new CEO is with the content.
It
I
doesn't
think
seem
he's gonna work
as
Well,
bad,
that-
but
No.
then again, there's some man fucking waxing his
I mean,
asshole live on YouTube that was fine.
I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of have seen a shift.
We said okay,
in-
fuck you, JP, because we had this conversation like almost a year ago, and
Yeah.
Gina and I both said that there is a shift taking place now. It was the beginning of that shift. Do you guys remember this? Does anybody
Yeah.
remember this?
I
And you
do.
were so adamantly against that being the thing.
So I didn't. Okay, the only reason that I was against it is I didn't think Trump was gonna fucking win. I thought for sure they were gonna
Be dumb enough to vote
I-
her in, yeah.
So that's why I am on record as saying now
No.
I do see that shift. They're going away from the wokeness.
Yeah, the
And you
push
can see
is the thing. All it needed was for some larger group to finally stand up and say, "I don't really want this anymore." I never really wanted it to begin with, but I kind of tolerated it for a while.
I am curious how far it's going to go in the next couple of years.
I
like, just
hope to
the general
God it
trajectory.
doesn't. Like, and this is what's going to happen. It's going, and it's already. I see it in places already. It's overcorrecting to a terrible way. I see it
What
on
do you mean?
Twitter. Like I loaded up
Yeah, I know what you
Twitter
mean.
today, and it's like the ugliest women in the world are black women. I'm like, hey, she says, I guess it's an opinion, but why are you even saying this? Like the overcorrect to be hateful and be like and people boasting about hatefulness, like, or being like, "Oh, I'm gonna get behind this guy." This had like fucking like thousands upon thousands of likes, and I'm like, okay, well,
I mean, I still see the posts of, this is gonna come back and bite you in the ass. Climate change is real. This, that, and the other fucking thing. I always
I just
respond
don't
to those
like.
people that talk about climate change is real. Say, yeah, climate change is real, but climate change isn't real in your context. In your context, climate change is not a thing. Climate change is gonna happen.
I just don't
There's
like
nothing.
the idea
We were
that.
never, ever, ever, ever gonna stop climate change.
I mean, okay,
Ever.
so the way I look at it is there is a healthy middle ground that we fly by it every fucking time. There's a way to like have free speech and also be respectful at the same time. But we seem to either be like, well, we're not going to have free speech at all. We're going to limit what you can say. You can't say these words. You should never say these words. When people are like, you can't say retarded, man. What the fuck? It's the worst thing you could ever say. And now everybody wants to say it too much. So it's like there's it's going to overcorrect. We can't just live in the middle where we belong.
I've always had a vocabulary of, whatever, like word retarded. And I say it at my aunts all the time and I always get yelled at. I'm like, I am sorry. I am not going to change the way I talk. When I'm saying it, when I say, God, I feel retarded right now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it
I'm
picking
talking
on
about
fucking retard.
Scott Bakula looking in the mirror, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm retarded." When he went back in time in Quantum Leap,
I don't understand. I'm not calling some.
Same. I don't understand either.
it's a term that's used. It's not used to insult somebody. It's used to describe how I feel. And if you feel like it's insulting, then I guess retarded people aren't retarded in your mind. I don't know. I also used the term forever when I was young, but like, man, that's so gay. It had nothing to do with being gay, homosexual at all.
So yes, and we used to say the same shit. We used to quit acting like a faggot. Like seriously, we were in the '90s. That's the terminology we use. Stop acting like that.
But I would never call a gay person that just because I didn't. It's context. Context is key, man.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. It's just when it comes down to it, this is like where word policing is a big problem. And that's where we were really heavily in the last 10 years.
Yes.
Policing words, and it's like it doesn't matter the context. Don't say them. That is super dangerous. That's even more dangerous than not policing them at all.
Yep.
All right? But like now, I think we're gonna swing back to a place where it's a bit more say what you want, and just people stop being just don't be offended by everything. Shrug it off. What the fuck, man? What are you growing up inside? A padded room?
And how fucking blunt and honest he is.
This is why I couldn't stand the people, and there's a sect of them that like showed up that were like their job and their life was offended to everything, all the time, everywhere. The people like that, you give an inch, they take a mile. You give them a mile, they take a fucking country.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You're like getting to the worst. But we were gonna start, I thought, with the Trump big T.
Well, I mean, we can talk about it. I was thinking about talking about something a little somber.
Such as
Bob Uecker.
yeah.
Greatest voice in baseball.
Oh my
lived for a
God.
very long time. So
He was 90.
He was 90 years old. We can talk about Trump. I want to talk about Trump.
No. Well, no. We're good.
So Bob Uecker was he played baseball from 1960 to 1966, played for the St. Louis Cardinals, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Milwaukee Braves. He's a backup catcher. His lifetime batting average he was a better ball player than I'll ever be because he made it to the major leagues, but he was a low.
He wasn't setting any.
He was always a backup. He was always a backup. He was never a.
It wasn't his true calling, I'm gonna say.
So so everybody that played with him said he was the funniest guy to have in your locker room. even when you lost, you smiled because you knew Bob Uecker was going to say or do something to make everybody fucking laugh. I remember listening to him when I was a kid. I actually got to meet Bob Uecker. Not like we hung out, but I
That'd be
got
kinda
to shake
creepy.
his hand. And
What?
I got
We're
to
gonna spend
talk
a day
baseball.
with this 10-year-old.
Well, I got to talk baseball with him. No, as an adult. I got to meet him. I got to shake his hand, and I got to talk about baseball, and what do you think? And he's very knowledgeable, but he just was never a good ball player. But he is. The funny thing about Bob Uecker is he did do Mr. Belvedere, but that's not what he's remembered for.
Mm-mm.
He's remembered for his Johnny Carson. My God, he was the guy at WrestleMania 3. And this was Bob Uecker. In the fucking nutshell, Bob Uecker, if you remember in WrestleMania 3 when Andre the Giant choked him, that was Bob Uecker. Bob Uecker,
Bob Uecker.
he was so funny.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He didn't
He
even-
made Andre look really strong.
Like the Brewers were horrible in the 80s. Most of the 90s, they were fucking, just bad. Like the Brewers lose 100 games a year. Like really bad. I remember turning on the fucking radio. The Brewers are down 13-1. And Bob Uecker's talking about how the team told him that it was a night game, but they actually had a day game. And he showed up at the stadium at night and nobody was there. It's just, you could listen to him for hours talk about just random shit while the game is going on.
He still knew what was going on in the current game.
He would say, I remember he lost it on the Brewers one time. They made a play and it ended up being a pickle play. And the guy ended up being safe, and he literally goes, "In what world do you run a guy?" This pickle lasted for like 45 seconds, and a pickle should last no longer than 10 seconds.
Yeah, tell that to a lot of women.
Right? And he's like, in what world do you have a pickle for 45 seconds and not be able to get the guy out? That guy is running back and forth. He has got to be tired, but the guy's safe. And it's just the little things about Bob Uecker, man. Such a great announcer. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
He deserves an Oscar for fucking Major League.
Well,
I don't know about that.
I didn't.
He's Major League. When he did that, they let him go. They didn't tell him. He's what made that fucking movie.
He's part of that whole movie was an ensemble. It was
But Bob Uecker announcing the game when the games were going on, without Bob Uecker there, I don't think that movie would have been as good.
Oh, for sure. I will say one thing. He was of the era where men were men and men were also 60 years old.
I know he's in the Hall of Fame.
Like he reminds me of another guy we were talking about earlier, fucking Naked Gun.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen.
60 years old from birth to death.
Yeah.
I've never seen this man not look 60.
You've been 60 years old for 40 years. How do you do it?
Yeah.
But
Also, I would wonder as a teenager if he did not. I'm looking at this gif of him here and just putting black hair on him.
Yeah.
That's
I think
literally it.
Oh my God.
1985. So he was 90, 2024. That was 29 years ago, 39 years ago, right?
Yeah. Look at that.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
So he would have been 61.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how he looked forever in everything I've ever seen him.
So
I've never seen a picture that he doesn't look this age.
But I remember him when he did WrestleMania 3. He was on Johnny Carson, I think that week, and he said, "I'm just looking for towards opening day." Opening day, listening to Bob Uecker, and Heather can vouch for this. Like I sometimes, instead of listening to Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder, who are the TV guys for the Brewers,
He'll turn the
I would
radio
turn
on.
the radio on, listen to fucking Bob Uecker while the game is going on. He has the most iconic he's more iconic than the guy in New York, Rod Sterling or whatever his fucking name is. I think he's more iconic than Vin Scully. Vin Scully had a base, but him, Vin Scully, and Joe Buck or Jack are the three guys that I associate baseball announcing with because their voice emanated the sport. Listening to Bob Uecker was like a opening a Christmas present for me.
10-year-old JP opens a Christmas present. It's a 60-year-old Bob Uecker.
I love Bob Uecker, man. I just love the man. I think and it's a goddamn fucking shame that this team never won a fucking World Series. They made it to one and lost. I would have loved to have heard him
announcing the first World Series, yeah.
them winning the World Series. It would have been so epic. I probably would cry if the Brewers won a World Series and he was still alive. That guy was so good at doing his job. If the Brewers were getting their ass kicked, or even if the Brewers were kicking the shit out of another team, he'd still talk about the game, but he would just like, this game's over, so we're gonna talk about my minor league career. So fucking funny. Like, he would get you through the game. He would still tell you that's a ball, there's a man on first and second, and then he'd go back to the fucking story. So good, man.
Yeah, you don't really get too many broadcasting entities anymore that, like,
no.
you like, it kind of reminds me of what happened with Michael Cole in the Vince McMahon era, where it's like, you're turning someone that could be better into this, like, corporate cutout of what you think people want.
I've actually heard people say, comparison wise, that Bob Uecker is almost like the Bobby Heenan of the baseball world.
He is.
No.
Or close to it.
No. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Thanks for the support. So
Connor.
So here's if you really want me to go there, who's the greatest wrestling announcer? Bobby Heenan was great, but not as good as Bob Uecker. Who do you think is the greatest wrestling announcer of all time?
Samantha Irvin.
Shut the fuck up.
She was so good she had to leave.
Talking about calling a match, not fucking introducing fucking wrestlers.
Ooh, that's a tough
My
one.
God. I gotta go with
Best
Starface.
one ever for me is ever gonna be Gorilla Monsoon.
Gorilla Monsoon was considered one of the worst for the longest time.
Yeah, but again, it was just of my childhood, and anytime he'd come out with
I
this
agree with you.
Fooey,
Now, where I will go with this is
somewhere.
I can associate Bobby Heenan with Bob Uecker on the funny shit and the humor. But as an announcer, I would honestly probably say JR.
Yes.
JR is considered one of the best
JR for me
wrestling
is
announcers of all
the
time.
thing is, JR is a straight man that he can shoot from the hip, by God.
Right.
And he's a fan.
He is a fan. And he's got like the whole mystique of Stroke Face.
I will agree with you that on the funny stuff, Bob Uecker is Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan and Bob Uecker worked together on WrestleMania 3.
I believe that.
Bob and Apples.
I mean, they were so good. They were good together. But the thing is Bobby Heenan was okay. He's what made Gorilla Monsoon better. I will say that about Bobby Heenan. Him and Bobby Heenan are my two favorites of all time.
Oh, yeah,
because
the
banter between them two was so fucking great. It's like they really did hate each other, but they actually loved each other.
Yeah,
it was just so good. But Bob Uecker, Rest in peace, man. You are one of the reasons why, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a baseball announcer or a sports announcer. Him and Howard Cosell, to me, are my idols. I really would, really, my real passion was going to be a sports journalist. I really wanted to write about sports. Love sports. That's all I fucking know. I mean, I know other things, but I can sit here and I can talk. I used to sit down. I've kind of gotten rusty. You could ask me a question and I could fucking answer it about sports. My family was in awe of me. They didn't think that I had the knowledge that I do. I paid attention to sports. It's all I knew. So, but rest in peace to Bob Uecker.
Rest in peace to Bob Uecker.
I hope you're up there with my dad trying to figure out why the Brewers can't fucking win a World Series. So there's that.
No, there's that under 27 club. It is. I have that 60 years old forever club. And he's
So-
part of it, man. The other guy, what the fuck's his name? He was in and he's still alive. Men in Black, and No Country for Old Men. You know, the fucking
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, man. Ugliest man
Be right back.
alive, 60 years old
Keep
forever.
going. I'll be right back.
I'd bang him.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman's another one.
Because I've never seen him when he was younger. Giancarlo Esposito.
Same.
So there's this like group, and Frank says Tom Petty. I mean, there's a lot of artists, not just like
Oh my God,
people
there
in
were
movies, but, like singers and
up
stuff. that are there.
up until about 2 years ago. Steven Tyler was part of that.
And then there's like the people that look 45 to 50. Tom Selleck was 45 to 50 forever. Like he was
Yes.
born with a mustache. He gave his mom a mustache ride on the way out. Think about that.
Yes, there's no other explanation for the magnificence of that mustache.
Yeah, but
Ridiculous.
in
Vagina
all
too
seriousness,
confused.
they even this is how big Bob Uecker was. Friday Night SmackDown.
Even made mention of him.
No, the show was in memory of him. They you know how they do the in
Yeah,
memory.
Yeah.
So that's how big Bob Uecker was.
Did they give him the 10 bell salute?
They didn't give him the 10 bell
He
salute.
wasn't a
And I,
wrestler, so-
you know, I don't.
He wasn't a wrestler, so I
understand.
wouldn't do it. Doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
I don't care about the 10 bell salute ever. I don't
It's,
think.
you know, they're trying to just
I
mimic.
don't think
the
it's
American
really.
military.
I mean, okay, you can ring the bell 10 times, but I really don't care.
Have a good night. What's up, Boto? Have a good night, Frank. Captain America. Yeah, Connor, get over there. You son of a.
I don't know if I'm even gonna watch that. I'm done with Marvel.
I mean, we could segue to that if you want to segue somewhere. Let's
I just
segue.
wanted to point. I just wanted to. That's one of the things that near and dear to my heart. I know I say they don't matter to me, like it does, but this is the
Botox,
kind of thing
I don't
that
think
would
it's.
affect. No, For me, it did.
I don't like it. It's a mimic of the 21 gun salute,
It is.
but
It
I
is.
think it should like in wrestling world. it should be reserved for wrestlers.
Do I hate the 21 gun
wrestlers,
salute?
yes.
Yeah, because I don't like hearing the sound of gunfire.
Especially 21 times. But we had a good
That I
segue
don't
there.
care. You can do it all fucking day.
We had a good segue there to the Daredevil Born Again trailer. Connor, I did just watch this before we got on here, but I will leave it. I think he.
Oh, I haven't even seen it.
It's
I haven't
okay.
even
I
seen
mean,
it.
I'll leave it up to Connor to kind of lead us into this. I know it's his wheelhouse. If he came back,
Let me do this real quick. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He might not have come back. If he didn't come back, that's okay. So I will segue into that. The
What's
one
it called?
thing, it's Daredevil Born Again. It might. JP, don't worry about watching it. You don't really have to. You can if you want. For me, I'm just going to talk from personal opinion. I was a fan of the Netflix series of Daredevil and the Netflix series of Punisher. I thought they did Marvel superheroes right on the small screen.
Oh my
They
god.
weren't afraid to be violent when they needed to be, but the
Mm-hmm.
storyline was also very intriguing. Acting was good. It was street level. The things I like about comic book movies, I will say, I think they have done a pretty good job with this one. It looks to me to be a spiritual successor to the Netflix series. I just hope that I'm not seeing the best they have to offer in the trailer, trying to fish me in
Right.
with you remember this from Netflix, and then when I watch the rest of it, it's all too Disney. And these are like the most extreme scenes. And I'm not talking like I just need violence. I need it to be like it was on Netflix, and it does
Yeah.
seem to be in that realm.
I did see the reports that both Daredevil and Punisher were going to remain rated R. So
The one thing I do like is they got all of the actors back. That's a very
yes,
good thing.
huge plus.
All the people from the Netflix series. So it's basically a season. I don't know how. I think Daredevil went to season 3. So this is basically like season 4
but yeah.
of
Yeah, I don't.
that series.
I 30 seconds in, I don't care. All
Well,
right, go on.
I didn't expect you to, but this is you were saying, oh, I have this affinity for sports, and I can talk about anything sports. I mean, this is Connor's more than me. I have a pretty vast knowledge of entertainment as a whole, not just Marvel. Marvel has soured pretty heavily for me, so I'm trepidatious when they show a trailer that I'm kind of like, doesn't seem too bad, but I will wait until this is out to see if I'm going to back it. I'm not the type of person to be like, oh my god, it's fucking amazing. I will skin my family to watch it.
I don't think there's ever going to be any kind of show out there to ever make anybody feel that way. But
well, I don't know. People are fucking crazy. It has a lot of positives going for it for me. So this is probably now, and it's crazy because I've said this every time I say this, something comes out to make me change it. This is the Marvel property I'm looking forward to the most coming out.
right.
I said that about fucking the new Captain America movie, but that's not doing it for me.
The trailer for that came out. No.
Yeah, it's like I like this because it's street level heroes. It's more realistic, even though it's a superhero movie, whatever, super show. It's characters I know with actors I know from a thing that I actually liked.
Right.
So,
Didn't this guy play, is the guy that's playing Daredevil, was he in the series with fucking, what's her fucking
But
name?
She-Hulk?
he was Daredevil.
Yeah, he was.
Again, that's and people are like, this is my gripe. You're using existing properties and lowering them by putting them in something so bad. But most people will be like, it doesn't matter. Just cleanse your mind. Drink the bleach, bitch. Come on, get in here.
I'm doing.
Yeah,
okay,
I don't.
Connor, what do you? I wanted to hear what you had to say about this because this is your baby more than as anybody else's.
Which part? Because I didn't get the exact question. We're talking about the Daredevil trailer, or
what are your
Captain
thoughts on the
America?
Daredevil Born Again trailer as a whole?
The vibe I got instantly from watching this, and I'm not saying this is good, bad, either way, but the instant vibe I got was Matt Reeves' Batman. Immediately, the same tonal vibe, just instinctively. If you
gritty without being too gritty.
Well, Matt Reeves' Batman is like Netflix Daredevil, though.
Yeah, that's right. That's my point. Is that I got that very similar esque vibe. It's got a lot of potential because I haven't seen all of it, but I've seen enough of the Daredevil and Punisher on Netflix to know how good this can get. And I can't remember the guy's name. Is Wilson Fisk is a fucking.
He's great. Vincent
D'Onofrio? Oh my
D'Onofrio?
god. Yes, thank you.
I mean, he is looking a bit long on the tooth now, a bit too old. I wouldn't want him playing.
Fucking Kyle from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, but he did a great job in the Netflix series. Honestly, the Netflix series for both this and Punisher are great. Both what got me there. Do they have an actual blind man playing Daredevil? So all I thought of, what the fuck is going on? He puts on the mask and just starts running around with batons.
Daredevil, the thing is that I think we're all in the same boat of more recently, and Marvel is obviously super guilty of this, but other movies have done this too, where it's they beat us to fucking death with the trailer, and they reveal so much that it just kind of like kind of defeats the purpose.
Well, my point
that-
was,
that-
I hope they didn't show everything that's worth seeing in the trailer.
Yeah, right. I think they've learned their lesson though. I've heard that, and this is a rumor, mind you. I've heard that the Captain America movie that's coming out. I heard that the Hulk fight is actually not until like it's like within the first third of the movie.
You sound like you sound like an abused woman.
Mhm.
I think he learned his lesson. You know, he's changed. But I mean, you might be right. I mean, when it comes to that, because they need to course correct.
No, you're so fucking.
We can be abused women together.
Listen, I know Marvel. I mean, shit. I tried to watch the Marvels just on my own. I didn't get 20 minutes. I didn't get 20 minutes into it. I was just not interested. Deadpool and Wolverine was fun. Was it the best thing in the fucking world? No. Agatha All Along, wonderful surprise gem. Really enjoyed it. The quality of Marvel stuff's gotten better overall. I think that if the writing's good with Daredevil and Daredevil Born Again, they have a long-term project that they could really have some fun with some of the more underdeveloped or not really bigger known Marvel characters. This is what the Spider-Man in the 90s did.
This
The 90s Spider-Man
actually
cartoon did.
be the jumping. This should have been, if this is done well, like the Netflix one. This should be or should have been the jumping off point for Disney television Marvel.
Right.
The
What I was
horseshit
like.
that they did.
I agree. Like the whole. A lot of people want like street level this, that, and the other. And this would be. You're right, Heather.
What the fuck are you at?
Jurgen,
Like
if you want the
airplane.
full experience, you got to watch it
Plane
blindfolded.
is starting to sound like gas flying by now.
Yeah, this thing is this airport is struggling. It's the wind. So this could be the basically the genesis of like the street level like fleshing out underground stories. This is what I like. Basement actually just said it best. This is what should have been the first Marvel television product, like from the get go.
But they couldn't do it right.
This
And
was
there was,
already established, yes.
but they were also in the age of
Yeah, they
like,
could.
strong female leads with zero storyline, and push them out. Like I don't care. I'm not fucking lying about it. That's exactly what they did. And
Yes.
anybody can tell me that they didn't. Every fucking character became a young girl. Oh, Iron Man's dead. What about his daughter? They never really got to that, but they wanted to.
Oh,
Not
they're
his daughter.
going.
No, it wasn't his daughter. It's like a strong black female living in
Put a
Harvard,
chick in it,
living in like the weirdest
make it
fucking
gay.
university room. Everybody got a suit. Yeah, I don't know. Marvel
Put
needs
it-
to course correct, and this could be that thing that does help them do it. But I don't have. I'm of the
High
sense-
expectation.
No,
No.
even though
No.
the trailer looks good and everything, right? I just like, again, I'm an abused woman. I can't come back, man. I know you're
Same.
saying you've changed, but you said you changed fucking 6 movies ago, and I
Yeah.
still
So,
have the
as-
bruises.
Does that mean the round table is just a therapy session?
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, we'll have to get
Right.
back to it because there's a couple things I haven't seen. Didn't see Agatha. Didn't see.
I still haven't watched Agatha either.
I'm genuinely looking forward to. I'm actually not only looking forward to all the Marvel stuff, but I'm also looking forward to Superman. I think Superman has some interesting.
I got relatively low expectations for Superman.
I do too.
But
I
think
have
that's a good
lower
thing.
expectations for Superman. I have like medium expectations for Captain. Like a little bit more for Cap, not a huge lot though. I think Thunderbolts will be the best one out of the.
I got low
three
expectations
Marvel.
for everything. Let's just go there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I would have any
Wait,
expectations for anything Disney. At
hold
this
on.
point.
Hold on. What the fuck are the Thunderbolts?
Yeah, the TBs, tuberculosis.
Team B.
It's all they're like the Suicide Squad of Marvel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually the best way to put it. It's basically the Suicide Squad of Marvel. So it's
So they're bad guys?
So it's
Yep.
the one Black Widow's sister, the Black Widow's father.
Black Widow's sister. It's the father, the Red Guardian, U.S. agent from Falcon and Winter Soldier, Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Taskmaster from Black Widow.
So they're bad guys?
Yep.
This is so stupid.
Oh, and Bob.
Well, they made them out to be good guys. I don't fucking understand, man. I give up. I give up.
It's one of those ones where if it's gonna work, it could only work with somebody at the helm that could make Guardians work. I don't know if that's going to be the case here. Because the person that made Guardians work was also the person that made Suicide Squad.
I have heard
exactly.
I have heard good things about Creature Commandos though.
I just don't really care too much with the animated stuff.
Creature
unfortunately.
Commandos.
Yeah.
It's an animated show for DC. Such a weird jumping off point
Yeah.
for me.
It is, but you know what? It's funny. Obviously, like everyone's. I was telling this to Heather last night in the stream. It's the whole like, well, if you're good at something, why not start off with the one thing that you're known and synonymous and pretty good at producing, which are ragtag comedy groups of random characters that may or may not, fucking Odd Couple syndrome.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. I mean, the thing is, it's one of those. There's like a dime a dozen now. Actually, those like animated like 90s art style has come back hugely with like Invincible and things like that. They're just cleaned up and look better. So it's not really a misstep to do it. It's just it's a weird jumping off point for
it is
universe.
I will the other part I was mentioning is that from what it sounds like, James Gunn's DCU, and forgive me if this is we talked about before, but from what I've seen from like the development of the other stuff going on, it seems like they're gonna jump in with like things already established. Like there's like Superman's already established, Batman's already established. A lot of characters are already well established in their universe. So
Twilight Batman, I know it, which is
Yeah.
fine.
I've talked about that too.
Which is fine, I guess. It's either going to work or it's not.
Right.
Like, I actually wouldn't mind a proper telling of Superman. Like, if they're gonna start a universe, I would actually, if it was me and I was starting the DC universe, I'd actually be like, we're starting right from the beginning. We're gonna have to see that fucking origin story again. I'm sorry, but it's happening. It's gonna be a better spin on the shitty origin stories we've had.
It's probably what they're gonna do with this one, because I mean, I'm sure they'll have flashbacks to it. But it's not gonna be
They'll
like
do the origin story in like, oh, it's the game in 30 minutes.
Right.
It's gonna be
the fly through the ring.
So it's me, landed on Earth, and they're doing like this flashback. That's me. I'm a baby. Yeah, you might think that's an S, but that's the symbol of hope. That's my dad. Fucking, I can see it now.
You're probably thinking, how did I get up here? Anyway, make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
This is Kryptonite. It's bad for me. Anyways, yeah. As far as the Daredevil trailer goes, it hasn't made me be like fucking Christ, which is good. It looks good, but I hate saying that.
Yeah, I know. So. I think for me, the reason I'm the most excited, that I'm very excited for this, is that creatively, there's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of, based off of the track record from the last Daredevil series, like creatively now, you have a sandbox that's wide fucking open to really have some fun with a lot of shit and play different stories. So there's potential.
If this was fucking 8 years ago, even 7 years ago, everything would be the same, but for some reason, the Punisher would be a fat black woman.
Yeah.
And like that's the difference for me, that they've kept everything the exact same. So it doesn't even seem like it's a new show. It seems like it's the fourth season.
It's a continuation of the old,
which is gonna probably win me over, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. You have anything else to add to that for Marvel?
The only thing I can think of is that they are starting to they are shooting Doomsday, I believe. They've started shooting Doomsday, I think now, or they're about to. So I'm sure spoilers will be slowly trickled and tinkled in. But
I already know, because I'm not going to see it in theaters. I'll see the movie in 15-second clips on Twitch or fucking Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah.
TikTok.
And it's on Twitter, and it's going to be minutes after the movie is released.
Yeah. I can't. It's completely killed me for.
I know Marvel. I'm not like as super like, gung ho, or like I'm still obviously gonna watch the shit. Like fucking What If? God, maybe
I'm not crazy about cocaine, but if cocaine's put in front of me, I'm gonna fucking do it.
No, what if is a great example of that. I'm like, oh, watch What If season 3. I'm like, yeah, the first twos were, whatever, they were fine. And that third one, I can't quite put my finger on it, but I literally went to like very ragefully angry at the series. Like, I don't know, like
Hey,
I
it's
got
like
unne-
She-Hulk
I
for
got
me.
unnecessarily angry at it.
It was like She-Hulk for me. I hated that fucking show with every sense of my being.
Don't even get me fucking started, please.
God awful garbage.
Fucking terrible.
And because unfortunately Marvel is Disney and Disney's connected to Star Wars, it's just an added layer of slop for me. Talking about an added layer of slop. Did anybody else see this fucking banger by Roseanne?
Huh?
Holy fucking shit. What the hell happened?
And a Canadian rap artist put out the song.
You did not.
Count yourself lucky. It's the top of the chart. Just Roseanne talking about like daddy's home with Donald Trump coming back into presidency with some Canadian rapper that looks like a tropical plant.
Villain boy? He looks
I
like a
thought it was
villain boy.
I thought it was a parody, as I'm sure a lot of people did at first. And it's like, oh nope, this is a thing.
For real.
It's just I don't know what happens when celebrity meets politics is the cringiest fucking shit in the world.
On both sides,
It
just
doesn't matter.
reared its ugly head.
And I love how like I loaded up Twitter and like there's a bunch of people with the American flag in the bio, fucking cowboy hat in the little image, and it's like, hey, what a banger! Like, what world do you live on, man?
God.
Like you are the exact same as the person that has the fucking blue hair screaming about activism and transgenders. It's just you traded in the blue hair for a cowboy hat and an American flag.
Trump doesn't hate Roseanne. No, he don't.
What?
He's an avid Trump supporter.
It's Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell does
Yeah.
not like.
He's talking to
And
squirrels
Trump,
now, so.
Trump and her had a fucking argument on The View. He told her to shut
Oh,
up.
I know, I remember it.
Rosie O'Donnell
Very
is
good.
a fucking disgusting monster, though. Honestly, I think she's just like, I don't even know how that woman was famous.
Well, so I will,
Depressive
say this,
sitcom.
I will say this for Roseanne.
Not
What
Rosie
happened to
O'Donnell.
her was bullshit.
Yep, I agree with that.
I actually liked her show.
I never really liked Roseanne, but I never like
So
the show.
the reason
I
that I
never hated
liked
Roseanne.
and you would not like my mom, because my mom is Roseanne.
I didn't. Okay, let me clarify. I did not. I had no problem with Roseanne. There was just this weird vibe I got from the show that I didn't like. And
Like, what do you mean?
I can't really explain it. I just
So that-
it felt like it kind of reminded me of people I knew, and I didn't like them, so I didn't like it.
Okay.
I understand that,
But not Roseanne. Roseanne was fine. All the characters, I didn't like the fucking daughter,
Which one?
the black-haired fucking
Darlene.
Patrick Mahomes,
Darlene.
or the fucking lesbian aunt.
She was a lesbian.
Her sister wasn't her sister not a lesbian. She looked like a lesbian.
She looked like one, but she wasn't.
She was Jackie. Jackie.
Yeah.
She wasn't a lesbian.
I didn't like most of the cast. It was like a weird, like
I mean,
not
the
trailer
green-
but trailer park family.
Well, okay, so now you're being mean to the Midwest.
Well, I was just saying it was. That's what it reminded me of.
That's exactly the way they are in the Midwest.
And I
Being
like
in
parts
the
of it, and
middle-
I don't like parts of it. I'll just say that.
What parts?
Well,
I
told you,
enjoyed
Patrick
the
Mahomes
show.
and the fucking lesbian.
Grace Under Fire is another fucking show I like.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad show, but they were very similar.
Well, Grace Under Fire, I remember one time I was in the army. I was homesick. And Grace Under Fire came on. I had to call my mom. I called her crying, like, I miss you. And it's like, what's wrong? I just watched Grace Under Fire. She goes, that's why you called me? You just remind me of her.
Grow up.
It's weird because
She
Grace Under
did.
Fire
No,
reminds
she didn't say grow up. She goes, my mom's my best friend, man.
Grace Under Fire reminds me more of my mother than Roseanne. There's a difference there. One is like more like prison hard, and the other one.
What?
Grace Under Fire was like prison hard, man. I don't know how
Well,
else
that's
to say.
because she was a former alcoholic.
Yeah. So that I got more of my mother vibes from her, the former alcoholic prison hard, than Roseanne, which was like the we have a big fat family type thing.
No, it was middle class. Well, I wouldn't say low. I'd say lower middle class.
It's weird because it's almost the same vibe I get from F is for Family, and there's just some weirdness that my mind can't get behind. I need therapy for these shows.
F is for family. F is for
I
family,
liked F is for
actually.
Family, but it gave me that Roseanne vibe. I don't know how else to say it.
Right.
Something about a
but
couch in a mostly
I have
brown
not
room.
seen. I have not seen said video. I might have to check that shit the fuck out.
You know what?
I think it's parody.
Don't
You know
talk
what-
to me
what
about
show I got-
Sheldon, but-
You know what show I got that a lot from Basement, and this might be apples to oranges a little bit, but fucking BoJack.
Yeah, it's like
fucked
I
me
like
up.
the show, but it's just so draining to watch it for some reason. Well, I know why.
Emotionally.
BoJack is a fucking emotional roller coaster, but it's so like pessimistic,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it
Well-
also has that fucking ugly ass. I can't stand the ugly ass American art style for a lot of shows. The
I love
ugly-
my-
it's like, how
King
can
of
we
the
make this
Hill.
look
King of
like-
the Hill was another show I really liked.
That also fits into the fucking same.
So-
It's King of the Hill, Roseanne, and F is for Family. All shows could be great, but it's just like I can't. I think I was raped on a couch in a brown room when I was younger.
Oh, King of
I
the Hill
just
is not
can't
as bad compared to Roseanne.
I can't get past it.
Hold on. Roseanne and King of the Hill had two very different tones to them as far as what was going on.
Yeah, but
It's-
the dry I
Like
didn't-
you said, it's the brown couch problem.
brown couch problem, man. I have a
Yeah, but-
brown couch problem.
One of them had-
So where I will say that I liked Hank Hill was the four guys standing out in the fucking street
Remember
drinking a
the
beer.
brown couch behind
Yeah.
them?
That's
No, it's just a fence behind them.
just a fence.
Oh man, there was a brown couch somewhere in that show. I know there was.
Oh, I'm sure there was.
Fuck. Fear of brown couches, man. I don't
Did
know.
the seal board? What the fuck?
Have you seen the cartoon drawn together? Some of it. A
I-
lot of
I
people
I've seen
love it.
every episode.
I
the
just.
show is so bad.
It's not, but I don't like the art. The art style for me is like holds me up sometimes in shows, man.
That one's art side?
Yeah,
Drawn together?
it seems like a fan made show. That's why I don't like it.
Most shit is fan made.
I know.
Anyway,
Drawn Together was all right, but like I also like context. A friend of mine's like, "You gotta watch this. It's the funniest thing ever." I watched it. I'm like, "It's all right. It's kind of funny, but it's not like blowing me away every second that I need to watch the rest of it." You know, when someone hypes up something too much, that's like I'm already kind of off of it because of it.
Yeah.
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 You almost did that to me with Arcane.
Mm-hmm. Me?
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Good.
Fuck you guys. Telling me the clit
Well,
monster.
great that it's the greatest show ever made.
Clit Cookie Monster wasn't a thing. I remember.
all right. So what's on the docket next?
Anyways, what do you think of Roseanne and her dreadlocks or braids?
I mean,
Mhm.
if that's what she wants to fucking do,
I don't want to hear her singing or rapping.
I don't
ever.
care.
She
She is a
doesn't have the
horrible
voice for
singer.
it.
She is a horrible singer.
Her voice is just not good in general, but
I hope she's
Lucille
still.
Ball had a better voice than her.
yeah, not too good there. I mean, we have a couple other things. One of them is I don't really have too much to add to this one, but oh god, I forgot this was the gift.
That's a
Oh,
rough great
that'd be
song.
good.
Nintendo is coming out with Switch 2, which looks exactly like Switch 1. Anybody else?
Oh no,
What's
it's
the
bigger.
difference? Oh,
It's bigger. The Joy-Cons don't slide on. No. They stick on by magnet now.
Finally saw the gift.
it's mesmerizing, isn't it?
You good, Jay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
If it's anything like Switch 1, I'll have if I ever buy it, which I won't, I'll go through 7,000 controllers because the fucking thing is built by 4-year-old Chinese boys.
Or a retard.
I don't know. The Switch 1 was a marvel in building old technology. It's a marvel in marketing. Because what they did is they released PS2.
Yeah.
They released PS2 with broken peripherals, and everyone's like, "Give it to me."
Yes. Yes.
You heard there, Mason?
I like how they switched the animation up for one, and it's like
Yes.
long and floppy. Look at it go.
He almost blew his back out on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's having a good time.
It's before the mushroom, after the mushroom. Yeah.
It looks like he's got 2 mushrooms in his ass.
Those are 2 Christmas hams right there.
I don't know about the Switch.
All I
never.
can say, man, Nintendo basically comes out and it's like, this is gonna be the Switch 2. It's almost as good as the PS4. Like, what the fuck is this?
I don't know.
I don't understand. Okay, Nintendo makes all their money off of like the IPs that they own and marketing and
Yeah.
for kids.
Yep.
But there's nobody out
Yeah,
there that
she
can be like, I'm excited for the Switch 2 for any other reason than either I'm a kid or I want to play Mario. So if you're
We're actually
fucking 48 years old, excited about the Switch 2, and you don't have kids, you might be a pedophile.
I mean, yes.
I don't know what
So
else.
we kind of talked about this a little bit before on the stream last night, but now I can't remember what I was going to say now. God damn.
Mm-hmm. Hard hitting facts there by Connor.
We were talking about that with Nintendo. The first thing you're always going to think of is the IP that you grew up with on Nintendo, which a lot of us, it's Mario.
They don't have a lot of cross-platform with major titles on Xbox or PlayStation that would be advantageous to be on the Switch. I have to see. I haven't seen the specs, but I've heard like 4K picturing when you dock it, and then I think whatever it would be, like the equivalent of like Steam Deck when it's portable, bigger screen, bigger controllers. I will say that the controllers not having to slide on, that you can just like click them on, looks like is a major feature. And I think there's a bunch of USB-C ports. So spec wise, it'll be interesting. It is those. It all boils down to those IPs. What games are we getting out of it? What games are going to be created? What because obviously you have a fucking kick-ass system, but if the games aren't there, then...
You know what would be a fucking great? I'd love
Mario
to,
Party?
No. I'd love to actually do like a fucking mass survey of people that have played Nintendo games, have owned Nintendo systems, and just be like, and I can almost guarantee already, if you could play any Super Mario, which Super Mario would you pick? I can almost guarantee it's the first or second Super Mario game they played. So either I want to play Mario Sunshine because I grew up on that game, or I want to play Super Mario 3 or Super Mario World. I just don't think the people that like I grew up on fucking Super Mario World, right? Or Super Mario, the original NES. I was never like, as I got a bit older, I was never like, I can't wait to play the new Super Mario. After Super Mario 3, I didn't really care for Super Mario. Sunshine was kind of fun because it was still young enough. And then after that, there was Galaxy and fucking Super Mario and Luigi butt fuck each other on Planet 9. Like, I don't think that there is like, it's not the same as like, have you played the new Fallout? Have you played the new Witcher? Have you played the new this?
Right.
Like, people fall off because it's like an entry to the system and an entry point game. And a lot of those titles are like that. Like, I would rather play the Double Dash Mario Party, which was on the GameCube, than any other Mario Party. All new, not Mario Party, Mario Kart. All new Mario Kart games to me are hand-holding bullshit.
No, I found out how you can turn that stuff off and make it like the original again.
You can't, because even with it
I was
turned off,
able
it's
to
not
on
the
this-
same.
I was able to on the Switch Lite.
It's not the same. Like they tried to like no matter what, the game is not the same because it doesn't have. I'm there fiddling with the fucking thing the size of like a micro tampon, trying to make fucking people turn. I'm like, who is this controller made for? 4-year-old Japanese boys? Yes, is the answer. Like it's a weird system that I don't think Nintendo has a good long-term solution to what's happening in gaming. It's working now, and it has worked for years. Do you think?
Because they have strong IPs.
Yeah, but a lot of those
I
starter
think-
IPs
I know,
are
I
like
think what
entry
they're-
points, except for Zelda, which is the same. Let me fucking not kid around. Zelda is not like even the Zelda Breath of the Wild games. People are like so innovative. Really? Was it really
Not-
that innovative? Fucking flying around on a hand glider. I've played a million games where you fly around on a hand glider. I don't know.
It's either that or they're just holding out for VR.
They already have VR.
That's what I'm saying. They'll be the first ones to actually reimagine
Well, they're gonna have
VR.
to make VR for 4-year-olds. Fucking
There are.
running out in traffic. Mario. I don't know. I just don't get. It's working, but I don't think if I had to bet money on which company would move forward and make more money as a console, it would probably be Sony first. Even
Yeah.
though there's a lot of complaints about them,
Yep.
but Nintendo is like already cutting off half of its audience because it's only making games for kids. And people are like, well, there's a bunch of adult games. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to be an adult with a Switch without kids.
Right? I don't know. I've never. The only time I played Switch was with you, and I
The
don't.
Tecmo Bowl, yeah.
I gave mine to my nephew, so that'll tell you something.
My son has
Wendy
mine.
has control of mine, so
It's definitely made for a younger generation, and it is like too many of their IPs are like entry level IPs where people won't care after they hit a certain age. You think a
Yeah.
fucking kid going through puberty where all his friends are like, let's get on Xbox and say horrible things about each other in races. And he's gonna be like, I think I'm gonna stick with Luigi's Mansion. No.
yeah, no.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think Nintendo is gonna, hit that point where you gotta kind of fucking evolve. Stop. It's just it actually pisses me off because they're releasing technology that's
So
fucking,
mesmerized.
they're releasing technology that's 10 years old and charging people
And-
$500 for it because don't you
Yeah,
want to play
that
as
was a-
Mario shaking his ass on live television?
They're like one step behind. They're always a step behind the major stuff going on for some. Or at least that's how it feels to me.
Well, if I worked in the industry, I think they'd be like, as if I was a game developer, I would fucking hate Nintendo because
yeah.
they're part of the industry, a huge part, where to make things cross-platform, you have to fucking reimagine everything because the game the system doesn't have the technology to play to do a proper port. Well, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we got to make this way shittier so you can play it on the Switch. Go for it. Anyways. Also, fuck Nintendo for another reason. They banned anybody from ever getting an emulator, and took the emulate. They literally took emulator
I heard about
technology
this.
made by people that
Mario.
aren't Nintendo fucking staff, and they put it in their own fucking console.
Yes.
Disgusting,
Mario.
man.
Evil Mario.
No,
Well,
no, okay. So you can get an emulator where you could play Nintendo games from old on your PC, just a computer program. They made that completely illegal, and then they did instead of making their own version, they literally copy and pasted
That
people like
in-
you and I. They took it and put it into their own console, labeled it, and sold it. And I'm not kidding you; they'll sell this shit for like $35 to play Super Mario 3 or whatever.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't care. I don't.
I am finding a shirt that has that saying I don't know and I don't care on the back, and that's gonna be your
played-
Christmas present
I-
next year.
first game system. Well, the first game system I had wasn't in television, but I had a Nintendo. It was all right.
Stick
I
out
did
rock.
I had my grandparents' Atari and then went straight to the Sega Genesis.
I did have a Sega Genesis.
I had an NES and then I had an NES and then I had an Atari because I bought it off somebody. Well, I didn't buy it off. I was like,
And then
man,
I
you can't
got-
buy this shit.
And then I got a Nintendo GameCube.
GameCube was awesome. One of the
GameCube is very underrated.
one of
in
the
my-
most underrated systems.
Xbox was all right when it first came out.
Yeah, Xbox 360 was the best Xbox ever made. I mean,
Aside from
for
me, right
gaming,
now.
except for the fact that the console was a pile of shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The games designed for it, though, were pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, really good.
But that's because they're also... You see, this is where I kind of disagree. It'll probably end up being Xbox that does better because of the fact that they cross-platform directly with any PC.
Well, they ain't doing better right now, I can tell you that.
Oh, well. Huh.
Xbox has made a lot of mistakes in that market. They're a bit
Yeah.
too big for it. Sony is... The thing that will kill Sony is, like, gouging. The ridiculous amount of gouging they do.
Everyone's fucking gouging nowadays.
Yeah, but Sony's gross for it sometimes, man. I feel like if you buy a game and next month it's free on PlayStation Plus that you're playing for, you should get that money refunded.
Agreed.
Because that's just a slap in the face.
Mhm.
But that's enough of that. There's only really one other thing I have on here, and I didn't see this. I haven't watched wrestling since the debut on Raw, but everybody's favorite Mexican ghost showed up.
Yes.
Eddie?
Penta.
Oh.
So I'm just gonna say
I swear to God, if you say I don't care and then go on a 20-minute diatribe,
no. I will say that him coming on, what they did with him, within the first 5 minutes, they made him look like a fucking star.
Yes.
What did they do? Tell me. Explain it to me.
His entrance was fucking epic.
So now you like entrances? I see.
No, but so they really had to do something with him because you got to remember he's a luchador. So great, they're gonna bring in some guy that doesn't speak fucking English and all he's gonna do is flippy shit, right? And he didn't do. I mean, he did do some flippy shit, but he actually did. Chad Gable and him had actually a really good match, and everybody's saying that he botched on the fucking. Man, they were in the fucking ring for 20 fucking minutes and he got the fucking shit beat out of him because Chad Gable beat the shit out of him. And he took it and it looked like it was, when he did it, it's like, oh my God, because he didn't get all of it. It was pretty good. And then he cut a promo and actually let him talk. And I'm like, oh shit, this guy can speak not bad English. So they've got something with him, but they've got to push him. They got to give him. I don't know how far they're going to go with him, but I think that when his brother shows up, the tag team division might actually take off a little bit more.
It was a great idea for them to have him face Chad Gable because just like his nickname, Hell Bag, he could literally wrestle one and be entertaining. What I would actually think would be interesting is for him to get, let him actually win how would you handle this? Would you have him have a singles run where he wins like a mid-card title and then have his brother come in to face him for it? Or would you rather hold him off on winning anything and have him reunite with his brother to be in the tag team division?
I would have him come in and face his own brother for a mid-card title.
I don't think I would do that. I don't think I'd do that at all.
What would you do then?
I would have to have it where Penta's getting beat up by Legado del Fantasma and his group, and then all of a sudden Ray Phoenix shows up.
I prefer not to see him have to fight another. I don't want to see luchadors versus luchadors.
Yeah, they're starting to get stale with the LWO shit.
Well, but you might have. I don't know when Ray Phoenix is coming, but I don't think it's too far off.
It would be interesting to see. I would actually be on board with him winning a mid-card title because not
I
only does
think they could do something with him and Chad Gable, and then have that group
American Made, yeah.
American Made, and then Ray Phoenix shows up and helps his brother.
Speak about
But he got. They did a right thing by debuting him in San Diego, because San Diego's right there on that fucking border, and everybody knows who Penta is. So they showcased him pretty fucking good on fucking Monday night. Now, what are they going to do with him this week? I don't know. But I did like it. It was a good debut. They made him look like a fucking star, something that fucking AEW fucking failed at.
Hey, Lucha Underground did it.
Yeah.
Lucha Underground was fucking. If they had Tony Khan money, I'm telling you, they still would have failed eventually because it's
so he was their golden boy in Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
No, Prince Puma, and he became one. Prince Puma was the start of it. Like for the first full season, he was the main guy for them. Him, Sexy Star. Karrion Kross was in Lucha Underground. I never knew this.
I didn't have know that.
Apparently he was. I never recognized him or whatever.
I know Joey Ryan was on there. That's when I got to first see Joey Ryan. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy putting a sucker down his pants for?
entertainment.
But he never did the fucking dick wrestling in Lucha Underground, which was good. But he also fit like greasy fucking scumbag. It just fit like the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little too on the nose.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. This week's episode of Raw was all right. It was all right. It wasn't great. We'll see.
I think it's not a bad idea though. Like, yes, you come up with a bang, but you kind of have to like temper expectations. And I'm not saying, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I get that.
It's okay. Like the show isn't fucking phenomenal. Shows should be phenomenal every fucking time they do them. Like, is that realistic though? If you're trying to tell long-term storytelling,
I'm just saying that the show itself was okay. It wasn't great.
This is the Triple H era where instead of the show either being fucking dog shit or pretty good, it's all right. I don't know, Connor. Did you see his debut? What did you think of it? If you did.
Oh, I sure did. So let's see. This would be what, third time's the charm? Trying to find fucking Rey Mysterio's replacement for goddamn 30 years.
But he's not Rey Mysterio at all, man.
No. But that's why I like him. I'm a big Penta mark. I'm a big Penta mark and a big Rey Phoenix mark. Obviously, I fucking had him in HGGM last season, and I like him because you can use him as babyface or heel. Obviously, the marketability is through the roof. He's a different, unique character.
The problem, okay, so Aaron, the problem with Jim Cornette is if somebody does flippy shit, he don't like it at all.
And it's weird because Pentagon.
Jim Cornette only wants to see 5 people in wrestling.
So Penta is he's a luchador that is probably on the lowest end of the spectrum for flippy shit. Like, he is not a guy. He can wrestle a whole match not doing one flip if he wanted to.
Yeah, he's more well balanced and well rounded. But I'm saying is that in terms of they're looking for the whole goal of like Sin Cara, Alberto Del Rio, even Andrade was to find a big Latino star, almost like with Eddie Guerrero, that would match the same popularity or build to the same popularity level like Rey Mysterio in terms of capturing that Hispanic audience. And you're right that Penta's not Rey Mysterio, but I think if anything, that's a huge benefit to him. because it makes him stand out that much
benefit
more.
and the fact that I think he's better than Rey Mysterio.
Well, I can
Ray
see
has knees that are made out of fucking liquid gold at this point.
I can see your perspective mainly from a marketing side.
Yes,
Because like
that's
everybody
yep,
had the
correct.
Ray masks, everybody will probably buy those Pentagon masks. You know,
Mhm.
Dude,
he is very much like he's like Sting mixed with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But he can deliver in the ring too. He may not be maybe as good as Rey Mysterio. You can make that argument, but he can
Go ahead, Connor.
deliver. He can. I'm just saying is he can deliver. Honestly, it kind of just goes in line with the theme of like, oh, there's a lot of talent out there in the roster that's coming up. That's like, ooh, these guys are going to be major players coming up in the future, and he's another one, in my
Right.
opinion.
So the thing with Penta is in AEW, all they wanted to see him do is flippy shit. His brother is the one that does all the flippy
Yeah,
shit.
he is like super.
Penta can do it. Penta can do it, but he doesn't do it. He does it when he needs to do it, not because he has to do it. So there's a big difference. And I watched that match, and yes, he would do it, but it wasn't like
He kind of
because
reminds
of
me a
who
bit
he
of
would get in the
Super
ring
Crazy.
with, and he actually sold shit. This is the difference. He didn't do a fucking Hurricane Rana off the top rope and then immediately pop up and then do a fucking
Yeah, his high flying moves have purpose behind it. He doesn't just do it for the
Yeah.
sake of doing it. There's
I'm
actually
not gonna do
psychological
17
reason or
flips.
advantage for doing so.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, like physically and kind of wrestling wise, he does remind me of Super Crazy.
Yeah.
I get a lot of obviously the color of you talk about like La Parka.
Well, I mean, visually, La Parka I can see, and yeah.
Oh
a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
I'm talking about like
but-
physically, he's like a barrel-chested fucking luchador that's mostly ground-based, but does like moonsaults here and there, and like other.
He's a
flippy
different
things.
cat, and the thing that I've noticed, and this is another like Triple H, Paul Heyman kind of thing, like creative behind the scenes. If you've noticed that, not perfectly, but they're establishing a lot of characters on Raw and SmackDown that are extremely unique. And that they're very different from one another. And I love that because that's akin to the 80s when you had all the different types of characters. We had like the Macho Man and Jake the Snake and
Just like a
Roddy
modernized
Roddy
version of
Piper.
it, yeah. You know what I immediately thought when I saw that they signed him? I'm like, the amount of people he can wrestle on that roster that I'd love to see that I haven't seen, like that breath of fresh air. Like I'd love to see him wrestle Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, fucking Randy, or anybody. Drew McIntyre. It doesn't matter. Like
he's a multi-talented individual where it's like there's a shit ton of people on the roster that he could have absolute great matches.
He's another really great worker that they just have in spades. WWE at this point in time, they're rich in like mid. I'm gonna say like all these guys are like technically mid to high card. Like I put them in the same boat as like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Austin Theory, LA Knight. They're all in that group that's like, yes, they could be world champions, but they probably won't be. And instead, they are just like there to elevate the couple chosen ones when the time is right.
Yeah.
He is for me a much bigger sign than his brother. His brother, a lot of people will like. It's kind of like, it's weird because they're kind of like the Hardys, but luchadors. Where Jeff Hardy is Rey Fenix, but like the actual true full-on talent is in Penta. I would say as like a full package. Much more than Rey Fenix. I haven't heard Rey Fenix on the mic, but he's the kind of he wrestles the style that he does more than's needed, and it kind of angers me.
Yes, I agree with you. But yeah, so Penta is way better than
Rey.
Rey.
He's not. He's just different, but it's my different that I like.
It's the kind of luchador stuff that I like. He doesn't need to do the flippy stuff, but he can do it. So
Right?
yeah, and he is
Also said
almost
he's
40.
30. You know what though? That is like I hated this argument with Vince McMahon. It's like anybody that's getting a bit old, we're killing them, except for the guys
Yeah.
that are too old, and we're gonna feature them. Like
Wait, what?
if Vince McMahon would fucking stop.
What, Connor? You
I
didn't
couldn't
know
hear
that?
him.
Oh, Vince McMahon would stop certain wrestlers that are getting a bit older in favor of younger wrestlers that he wanted to promote. Yet he would fucking moonshot. Yet he would moonshot fucking the ancient ones. It was such a weird thing for me. I'm like, if a wrestler can go, I don't really give a shit what age he is. If he starts piling up injuries and he starts slowing down in the ring, then it's time. But I mean, are you gonna rob AJ Styles of 7 years of his career because he hit 40?
Yeah.
With his production level, it doesn't make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I get it. He should be coming back soon.
Speaking of AJ, Aj Styles, do we want to maybe the worst kept secret in wrestling that's going on right now? That WWE and TNA officially announced a partnership. They made it Facebook official.
Okay, don't care.
Oh, they're in a
But anyway.
relationship now. Holding
Okay.
hands, walking.
I'm
down
waiting.
The beach.
I'm waiting for the 20-minute rant after what you just said.
He doesn't care.
I have nothing to say. I talked about this already. I don't think the partnership is going to be one of those partnerships that's going to be. This is why I don't care. I don't think it's going to be one of those where they're going to have fucking Roman Reigns show up on fucking TNA.
No,
So
but
that's why
they got NXT in the Performance Center, yet it's on television somewhere. I think it's the rising tide will raise both products. I like the idea if they keep it. It would be neat to have. Basically, there's Raw and SmackDown. It would need to be NXT and TNA as like the Raw and SmackDown of the underground.
Right.
Anybody else, kind of get with that jam?
I think Triple H is going to take the idea of their World Cup shit though they used to do in TNA.
I wouldn't mind that, honestly. I honestly wouldn't mind the World Cup.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, they would have tag team, and if a tag team went in, they do a point system.
The big one that TNA used to do was the World
system. It's nothing like the fucking Continental Classic. It's
No.
if they had they would have the United States tag team taking on the Canadian tag team. Then they'd have like a survive 4-on-4, or a 1-on-1. There's a combination, and they build feuds with it. And it's World Cup. I can see them fucking doing that.
You know what TNA also did was what I really liked was, and this isn't the first time they've done something like that, where they've actually created like a sports like event that would require wins and losses actually fucking matter. The Bound for Glory series was another one that I really liked, where they had a series of I think it was 8 wrestlers, and they said, all right, you guys are in the series. It's a point system. You have like matches will be deemed qualifying matches, or like Bound for Glory series matches. You get X points for winning, X points for losing, DQ, submission, blah, 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 blah. Whoever's got the most points at the end, top 4 will go into a fatal 4-way or a mini tournament. I actually think it's a pretty cool idea because it makes wins and losses actually have some gravity to them and builds up for something in the future. And again, gives it more of a sports environment feel to it.
I want to build on that idea. Hopefully I don't forget to do so. But Boto, if you look at the WWE, man, fucking their mid card is ridiculous. There's a ton of mid card wrestlers. It's just sometimes they're in high profile matches, sometimes not. I mean, you got the Chad Gables, Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, even Kevin Owens. I would say LA Knight, Logan Paul is in there. You've got, you guys help me out. There's tons. There's literally, the mid card is as strong as it's ever been. And the thing is, if I look at if you're gonna differentiate like the top of the top, like Stone Cold, The Rock,
I think,
Kurt
I
Angle.
think what Bodo was talking about is like the Brooklyn Brawler type fucking guys that
Well, you don't have
they
the
would win every
characters.
once in a while, but they would always lose to like Hulk Hogan or whatever.
Well, that's just like
They
a
don't really
style
have
of
that
wrestling that
anymore.
doesn't really
That's
exist
what
anymore in
he's
general.
That's
Yeah.
what he's talking about. That's what he's talking.
But okay, so you know what would be a really fucking cool idea, and this actually works with WWE kind of going worldwide because they're having these pay-per-views all over the fucking world and shit like that. I'd love for them to do like a wrestling World Cup, where if they're gonna hit.
You talked about this before, I remember. Yeah,
But like the idea
I'd
that
love
you
it
were
too.
saying with like wins and losses and things like that, where it's that added thing where you could, on Raw, we're having a qualifier for the World Cup that's taking place in Berlin at Bash in Berlin, and this is what's gonna happen, and then you move on, and you might have like a big bracket that plays over the year, that finishes off at WrestleMania, wherever WrestleMania is. I think it would be like a nice aspect to have like a building block for potential rivalries, but more like just it being more of a sport, and it would give like, we're going to Jihad. We're going Jihad. Oh god, Riyadh. We might
Riyadh.
Jihad and Riyadh. That's what they should have called it.
Jihad is something that the Arabs do to wage war on people.
The Jihad and Riyadh. Perfect. That would be the name that I would call it. But then you have like some homegrown-esque talent being put in there to fight somebody. I think you could actually do this pretty well over a course of a year.
Yeah,
I've wanted like a world fucking best wrestlers in the world thing for a long time, but it's just never gonna happen when everything's so divided. What's up, Gorilla Strong?
Strong.
But other than that, I mean, we'll see what they do. But yeah. So the one thing that I wanted to talk about, and it's going to be really quick, and there's a couple things actually, is the Trump inauguration being moved inside. Why are people in an uproar over this when they aren't going? All these people that are complaining about it aren't going. And it's people that don't like Trump, but they're going to say, well, they're moving it inside because they don't want, the crowd isn't going to be as big. They're actually moving, and it wasn't even Trump's move to move it inside. It was whoever is running the show said, we're going to move it inside for the simple fact that it's supposed to be cold. And who cares if they move it inside?
I don't know about you, but I want like a bunch of fucking 70 and 80-year-olds sitting outside for 4 or 5 hours in the freezing cold.
-30.
Well, it's not going to be -30. It's not going to be -30 there, but it is going to be crappy weather.
But you know what happens when you get old? You get fucking cold all the fucking time.
Yes.
And every single person in politics is fucking 70 years old.
I don't know why people are trying to make this something it's not. In fact, I would go so far as to say I think that unless it's 70 fucking degrees out for the inauguration,
all of them
should be inside.
Is there like some sort of reason it's held where it's held, like historical, outside of the fact that we always did it here?
So usually it's held at the Capitol building, and it's been held there for
at least 100 years, I think.
Are they worried about people raiding it?
No. Well, I think that's the conspiracy theory.
A bunch of blue hairs.
Yeah. Well, there is a protest there again. They're doing the fucking walk on the Capitol, where their fucking Trump, Kamala Harris supporters are gonna raise a stink. But I think that they moving it inside is. I don't like going to a football game. I don't like standing out in the fucking rain when I'm at a football game. I've done it, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's my favorite fucking thing to do. I think it's just, why are we all in an uproar over moving something inside? I understand tradition. I get it. But everybody's acting like this is the first time this has happened.
Is it?
None of these people are fucking young anymore. Joe Biden's going to be there. He's probably going to catch pneumonia.
Nope. Nope.
He's probably going to catch pneumonia. Do you remember the inauguration? Bernie Sanders sitting there looking like Stephen Hawking. I just who cares? And everybody's saying all of this other shit.
Anybody.
I don't.
These are the people I
care.
don't pay attention to. The people that
So
complain about everything.
why if you think that we are all going to fucking be under a fascist regime, then leave.
You know what would be great? The people that are complaining about this, they just go there. Go stand out in the fucking cold for 8 hours. Enjoy yourself. And after those 8 hours, get question. Would you prefer this be inside in a heated room? Just asking.
Right. And all the people and people complaining, well, the people that came to see him, this is
Yeah,
you just
I mean,
shitting on
Alpha has a point. He was
They're
also fucking.
actually moving a viewing party inside to another fucking arena. So it's not like
People gotta be pissed about something apparently.
Alpha does have a point. I mean, this guy. I mean,
so the inauguration itself, and it's just a swearing in, right? He's going to give his speech, right? They're still going to do the parade, which is something that they always fucking do. The president walks from the Capitol to the White House, and then they have a fucking parade, and that's it. I think that's what they do. And but do we need to stand outside in 20-degree weather to listen to somebody talk about what his next 4 years are going to be like? If I was running for president, I'd swear in. I said I got to get to fucking work because I want to fix what's wrong.
People have blown the shit out of proportion.
I will also say, like, to Alpha's point, it's like it's safer inside. It is. I mean, this guy's there was an assassination or a couple.
It's been through enough.
I don't think that's why they're moving it inside. But
I mean, Donald Trump, like, that's not he. I'm not a Donald Trump apologist. Yeah, I think he's a piece of shit. But
yeah,
I think he's the right piece of shit for the job.
Yes.
Pretty accurate.
I don't disagree with that.
What do you think he smells like? Just to be, what do you think he smells like?
Old Cheetos.
What?
I feel like he I think I would go with like Old Spice with like a bit of ass.
Oh yeah, I could see that too. So unfortunately, I gotta hop off a little early because the little one is not feeling so great, and so I have to depart. If I'm able to come back, I will do my damnedest.
He's gone forever, guys.
As I say, 95% more likely that I'm gone for the night. So that note, you guys have all a good evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Take care, Connor.
Peace.
What do you think he smells like?
So I people crying about it going inside. Good. I think it should be inside. I don't care. I don't want to stand out in the cold weather and listen to somebody talk for a half an hour about what they're going to do. Like I said, if I was actually in that position, I would be like, I'm gonna take the oath of office. I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna look at the crowd and I say, now I'm gonna go to my office and I am going to get to work. End of story. If you don't like it, too fucking bad. You'll see. Words mean nothing. Action speaks louder than words. So there's that. And I know Trump is one of those people. He's about visual, him being visual. I know that's a fact because he likes it when the camera is on him. I'm not gonna fucking lie. But
no.
He does have, but they all have fucking egos.
I know.
He does.
Again, he's a piece of shit, but you know what? You kind of need a piece of shit every now and then.
All the people saying, "Oh, all you people," I had pastor even said, "You will be complicit." I'll be like, "Motherfucker, listen. You're a pastor, right?" So I tweeted that motherfucker back, and I said, "Listen, you're a man of God, right? Fair enough. So just because I voted for Trump, if it was the wrong thing to do, I can ask for, according to the rule of God, I can ask for
You
forgiveness.
should be stoned by everyone, myself included.
So people just need to breathe. If he didn't do anything in the first 4 years, he's not going to do anything this 4 years. Just relax. It's going to be okay. Nothing's going to change for you. And if it does, lesson learned. So there's that. We don't know what's going to happen until it happens. And God has a plan. If you believe in that, God has a plan. And apparently he thinks Trump is right for the job. So I'm not. He's a part of the plan, people. So deal with it. That's all I can say. Tomorrow also is the College Football National Championship. I'll get into that, but I do want to talk about football. We talked about football last week. The divisional round was this week. Again, the referees are fucking.
Oh my God. I got to say, I loaded up Twitter, right? I haven't been following football at all, right? But I loaded up Twitter and it's like a live look of Mahomes with the ref, and it's an AI version of them making out with each other.
So the announcers are even calling him out for the referees out for their bullshit right now. The referees are the referee there. He's like, I don't know what he is looking at, but he should not be the referee.
So do you?
The analyst. So Patrick Mahomes ran and then he kind of tried going and then he slid, and two guys actually, well, it wasn't that. They were going to hit him, but they didn't even touch him, and the ref threw a flag on it.
For roughing the passer.
For roughing, no, just unnecessary rough. You can't, it wasn't in the pocket.
Okay.
So that added 15 yards. That cost, because they would have had to have punted, which would have, and then I think, I don't know, but the Kansas City Chiefs drove right down the field, scored a touchdown. Which, again, I'm not going to say that that's the reason that Houston lost that game, but these referees need to start taking accountability. I did read that the referees that ref the Packer game last week, a couple of them got fucking suspended.
They need to be paying fines too.
They did. They did get fined. So they're taking accountability, and now it's starting to get to the point where I think the NFL might actually do something.
Do you think there's an unnatural bias for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Oh fuck yeah, there is.
Do you think it's the Taylor Swift effect?
Yes.
No, I don't think that's.
And she is the chosen one.
I do know.
It does happen to be weird, right? In sports, I found that like for the longest time and outside of like, and people are like, "Well, it's the finances. Small cities, they don't have the money to make teams like this." I'm like, yeah. So every big city, and not all of them buy their teams, but every big fucking city with all the fucking celebrity fucking people showing up seems to be in the playoffs all the fucking time. I don't know.
So the Packers are one of those teams that are not owned.
Let me tinfoil.
They're actually owned by
the state of Wisconsin.
No, they're not.
They're actually not owned. They're actually owned by.
Well, they're owned by several people. They're a stockholder team, so they are
most teams.
They're at the New, so they make money off the New York Stock Exchange.
They should have bought the Trump coin before he became president.
They are one of the New York Stock Exchange 500, I think.
That is kind of wild to believe.
It's a publicly traded company, like WWE.
I don't like stocks in certain ones, but there are a lot of like teams. Every team here is owned by the same fucking company, Rogers, which is the devil incarnate.
Yes, it is.
For them, they were great.
But
it was the worst fucking experience of my life.
But the problem, the baseball is the real problem because there is no salary cap. And if you have a salary cap or some sort of, you can't go over this. You can't go out and spend $155 trillion on a fucking player just because you want him. There are teams out there that can fucking do that. Like the Dodgers just got 2 players that I think they paid $40 million a year for.
Yankees are similar.
The Yankees do it. Basketball tries to do it. Hockey actually has the better of it. It's a hard cap where you cannot go over that. If you go over that cap, you are being fined. So football is one of those sports where you can go over the salary cap, but you got to be under it at a certain point. But referees are finally, after watching a couple of games today, there was a couple of times today where I'm like sitting there like these referees just don't fucking care. They don't fucking care. I don't think that they have a horse in the race. They could, but they just like they seem like they can do no wrong.
Yeah.
That's where I have a problem with referees.
50s.
You can't throw a flag on something because, oh my God. Like, I remember there was a fucking penalty on Tom Brady where somebody touched his fucking helmet. Like that. 15-yard fucking penalty.
Yep.
I shit you fucking not.
We have that game on stream where I even sat there and said, "Oh yeah, these referees are sucking Tom Brady's dick."
It's not just sucking his dick. It's just referees are trying to protect the quarterback, and it makes no sense. Especially barely touched his fucking head.
You know,
The slapping of a player making a move to do something to stop the player from throwing, and he hits his head. Get the fuck out of here. That's not a penalty.
What they should do is like
They
any
need to fix
referee that is found fucking, doing shit, not even for financial gains. They just like fuck up plays time and time again.
They need to be punished.
Yeah, and this is how you punish them. You all of them make him play out the role of our good friends here, Bill Belichick's 10-year-old wife, and just have them lie down starfish while this man just fucking slams you back and forth. I can't. They showed his wife, and then they showed. And I was like, Jesus Christ, he's a 72-year-old walrus.
Yeah,
Bill Belichick.
Yeah, imagine he's like, I'm gonna make a Patriot.
He's actually going to be the head coach for the North Carolina Tar Heels next year.
God. Well, he's fucking a 7-year-old. He's like, I'm gonna do you like I did Tom Brady. Show you how to kiss like a real man.
But so the playoffs the championship games are now set. It is Kansas City versus Buffalo, and the Eagles versus the
Commanders. What's it?
Commanders. I have no horse in the race, and so I don't care. So when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at it subjectively, and I can honestly say that I don't give a fuck about any 4 of these teams. Maybe the Bills. I'm sick of seeing the Chiefs. The Eagles fans are fucking horrible people. Eagles fans are horrible people.
Oh man, was it an Eagles fan that like just ran up and punched some Toronto?
Oh, he
Leafs
didn't
fan?
punch somebody. He berated her.
Someone got beat up. A Maple Leafs fan got beat up by somebody in Philadelphia. They just walked up and started fucking clocking the guy.
Yeah, Philadelphia fans have no. They think they think they know sports. They know shit.
What happens in the stands stays in the stands. It's like, well, you're about to lose your livelihood because you assaulted someone for cheering something.
It's just that they're horrible people. Like, they threw fucking snowballs at Santa Claus. And all he did was come out and waved. They're horrible people.
Yep, but isn't that what's great about them?
No.
Mm-hmm. They literally lit their whole town on fire because their team won.
When was this?
Like 7-8 years ago.
When they beat the Patriots?
Riots.
When they beat the Patriots?
Yeah, when they had the riots in the streets because
they don't
won.
They don't know how to fucking act.
I was
They
around the
don't.
time that Bill Belichick's wife was born.
That's set. The college football national championship between Ohio State and Notre Dame is tomorrow. That is taking place in
Somewhere.
I'm trying to remember where the game is.
What's happening? It's happening somewhere.
It is.
Not happening in
I'm
LA.
really looking forward to watch. I'm actually going to watch the game and not Raw tomorrow.
Blasphemy.
We'll be able to watch it immediately once it's done.
I mean, we can have it. I might even bring both TVs out.
Oh, you're gonna fucking
They'll screen it.
yeah. Double fist.
I'm
that
trying to
boy.
find out where it is.
In hell. Yeah, okay, so Alpha to that extent. I was so disappointed with fucking the Raptors fans. They cheered when fucking Kevin Durant got injured. He ended up fucking like rupturing his Achilles. Like,
Oof.
come
When
on,
was
man. This
When
was
was
in
that?
a playoff game that we ended up winning the fucking championship. We beat I can't remember it that well, but Kevin Durant got injured. He got carted off. No one knew what the injury was, right? But I don't think any fucking person should celebrate anybody's injury. I don't like that. That attitude is disgusting. Get that out of here.
I'm trying to find where it is. Jesus Christ, man.
That's what Bill Belichick's wife said while she was looking for his.
They're playing it in Atlanta. Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Mercedes-Benz.
ACL.
They're playing it. Yep, Atlanta, Georgia. It's a cool stadium. It's about like they always have national championship games. So where they have it, I think it. The one thing that I will say about college football is they're trying to make the bowl games what they are, but it still takes away from the January 1st. I personally was a fan and will always be a fan of rankings. I was always a fan of the Big Ten, Pac-10. Was the Rose Bowl. The Orange Bowl was the Big 8 or the Big 12 versus probably Notre Dame or fucking Miami. The Sugar Bowl is the SEC versus another fucking whoever. And then the ACC was, I think that was the Orange Bowl too.
Man, I
But-
feel like if it's not broken, don't try to fix it.
Yeah.
But the reason why is because the reason that they did it is back in 2000 or 1997, Nebraska and Penn State split the national title, and people actually wanted them two teams to play each other. I am fine with number 1 and number 2 playing each other, but I would rather keep the tradition. Now, they did do it the right way. The way that they did do it was the BCS, and the BCS ranking system was so fucking dumb. It was calculus. It was based on who you played, your strength of schedule, and the SEC would always have a fucking team in the fucking because their strength of schedule was always so high. So they had to get rid of that. Now it's pretty much. I like the way it is now, but I would much rather prefer the season end and then they go right into the playoffs. They don't do that. They wait. I just don't like it. I think they should be doing it like the NFL does it. They go right from the regular season into the postseason.
Gotta make
That's
that
where-
money, man.
They do have they did keep the bowl games. Most of the bowl games, there's now they keep adding fucking bowl. Like they have a Duke's Mayo bowl game.
Which is so dumb.
I remember it used to be like 10 bowl games.
Rose Bowl being the most important one.
Well, not always. It was Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Holiday Bowl, the Hall of Fame Bowl, which became the Outback Bowl, the Gator Bowl, the Citrus Bowl, the Cotton
Bullshit.
Bowl. So there was like 10, 15 bowls that they did. Not everybody got to be in a bowl, but it became so convoluted that all the teams that
Shouldn't be anywhere near a bowl.
well, if you won your conference, you deserve to go to a bowl game. If you had a winning record, you deserve to go to a bowl game.
Do you think, like, in
Not
some
easy
aspects,
having a winning record, huh?
do you think in some aspects, and I kind of think this way with the sports that I follow, is the sports have like tried to overcomplicate. Like, there's just too
Well, it's-
much happening.
Well, so they have to fix the way that. So the way that it wasn't is so convoluted. If you were a Power 4 conference team, you got to buy. So you were a top 4 seed no matter what.
What I mean is, like, they just, like, in my experience, they just keep adding things in hope that it's going to equal revenue. But I think what they are sorely lacking, as I'm going to talk about basketball, is they added this fucking in-season tournament where no other games are played except for the in-season tournament. Nobody cares. It's not helping revenue. Revenue is down. What's hurting everything is stopping players from any small thing happens technical. And it has nothing to do with, like, there was no like hate in the action, but it's like, oh, tech, you're teed up, you're out of the game. Like, over regulation in the games, and then more like kind of like side acts that they're trying to do. Oh, we've got All-Star Weekend. That's steadily declined because it became a celebrity 5-on-5. Oh, the dunk competition, it gets worse every year. Oh, we're going to do triple threat. We're going to do triple threat with the fucking WNBA.
Yeah.
They just keep they're expanding but losing viewership. And like,
So,
do you think that's a problem? Is what I'm saying is, do you think it's better when
I
less
don't
is
watch
more?
All-Star games. The only All-Star game I really watch is baseball.
Do you think when it comes to sports, less is more?
Yes.
Depending on what it is and how it's done.
I get, like,
Yeah.
overall, like, they keep their plan to combat losing money is do more. And I don't think that, I think you have to understand the potential amount of money you can make and work with that instead of being like, money is infinite.
Yeah.
Yes. So, well, they are paying players now because they have these NIL deals.
Well, it's killing the league.
It is.
The
Well,
amount of
it's-
money being paid to players is killing basketball. I can tell you that.
Oh, of course. It's making the game.
You got role players being paid $18 million, sorry, to
Yeah.
be somebody
It
that plays
don't deserve 18
to-
fucking
to
million
be somebody
dollars.
that plays 12 minutes a game, maybe.
Yep. Football players they still make, I think, the minimum for a
College player.
no,
Football.
no. The minimum I think is 1.06 million for a veteran player. You have to pay a veteran player $1.06 million if you're going to put him on your roster. There is no, he's never going to play, so I'll give him $500,000. You got to pay him $1.06 million. According to the unions have ruined professional sports in general, in my opinion. I personally think unions need to be taken out of sports because players are getting way too much, especially in the NBA.
Oh man,
Fucking the like Giannis Antetokounmpo might not. He doesn't even play all 82 games. He plays
He can't.
5 games. He plays 5 games and then he's got a rest day.
He can't. He can't play all. The problem with a lot of these teams is, like, you've now created like businesses on businesses on businesses. Each player is a business and an ecosystem in itself. Because not only are they just playing, they're selling products, they're selling shoes, the face of the franchise, they're in commercials. And they're worth $50 million a year. I can't have them go out with a swollen knee, therefore they will sit. Therefore, the people that go to watch this game will be upset because they don't get to see Antetokounmpo. And over time, like, what they'll try to do is they'll try to get the guy to go out. Oh, I got this knee injury. I'd rather you get the
No.
6-month fix than the 1.5 rehabilitation that comes from actually
No,
fixing the problem.
I will say this about Giannis Antetokounmpo. When he is in there, he is giving it everything he has.
I agree, but I don't think there's no player that's worth the amount that they're being given. Once you start giving the players this type of money, you start killing the league because you make players that are divas that technically Antetokounmpo doesn't ever need to play again. Ever again in his life. He's got all the deals in the world. He doesn't need to play. It's for the love of the game. But for the love of the game, have you ever worked anywhere in your life and realized that the love of the game was in very few people?
Right.
And then you get the people that are there for other reasons.
So-
give me that unrealized potential salary. I hate that when they give a guy that's like he's been in the league for 2 years. He hasn't really seen too much action, but he was number 5 draft pick. Let's give him $20 million to realize that he's fucking trash and shouldn't even be in the league.
So when it comes to college football, players are being now paid to.
Yeah.
And some of them are getting paid $1 million to play football.
Yeah, I mean they were making money on those players' backs, but at the same time,
And
I
I
hate
got
both sides. Is where
I
I stand.
get it. I get it. However,
I hate both sides.
I don't. But they're already getting an education, which is paid for. Yes, they're getting per diem, which isn't a lot. If that player wants to make money off of his image, okay, fine. But the university should not pay him to come there
I personally
above what he's getting for his scholarship.
My problem is I can't see a legitimate fix to the problem. Because this problem doesn't only exist in college, it exists in every level of sport where the amount of money being made is ridiculous. Where in my mind, I turn into a fucking communist. Like they need to cap the money made and put the money back in to the city and things like that. But I can't trust anybody that's going to take money from fucking, how do you fix it?
Right. So there's one more thing I wanted to say, and I wholeheartedly disagree with Boto on this. He said they need to go to 6 divisions like in the NFL and go from there, realign everything. The reason that won't work is the small universities that aren't as prominent as like the Ohio States and the Michigans and the Michigan States and the Wisconsins and the Iowas and the Iowa States. The reason that won't work is they're going to run the Western Michigans. They're going to beat them every fucking year because they're never going to get the players that they do. Every once in a while, there will be a player that comes out of there or out of one of those smaller universities that makes a splash. However, that one person isn't going to fucking make that team any better than what they are going to be. So, although I have, I think there's like 10 divisions or 10 leagues in college football, and each league has 12 teams. That each league has a championship game. That championship game, the winner of that championship game moves on to a bowl. The way it works in college football is the way they need to do it is they need to somehow figure out and have a committee like they do in basketball. This is why college basketball, the March Madness tournament is so good because they seed the teams by committee, and they actually usually get it right. Sometimes there's been a couple of times you'll see a couple of those, like, why is Wisconsin a 7 seed when they just won the Big Ten and have a 29-5 record? Why are they a 7? That didn't happen. If that was to happen, Wisconsin would probably be no lower than a 2 seed. But my point is, you can't punish a team for having 5 losses. If you're going to have a team that had 5 losses, but, oh, it's Duke, they're more prominent in college basketball than Wisconsin would be. Yeah, well, sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. Don't punish a team because they aren't as prominent as another team. That's where I have an issue with college sports sometimes. That's where I really had an issue with the way that they were doing things before. It made no sense to always have the SEC have 3 teams in the fucking tournament. The Big Ten actually had 4 teams in it this year, and I completely disagreed with it wholeheartedly. Indiana didn't deserve to fucking be in this fucking thing at fucking all. They got fucking destroyed by I think they played Notre Dame. Just got fucking manhandled like the fucking pussy bitches that they are. Indiana is Indiana. The only reason Indiana got in there is because they only had 1 loss. And they lost to Ohio State. But the thing is like, I'm like, come on, man. Indiana doesn't deserve to be in this fucking game. Arizona State didn't deserve to be. I mean, they did have a good showing, but they didn't deserve to be there. They didn't deserve to be a 4 seed, maybe a 7 seed. So they need to do where by committee. Ohio State was an 8 seed. They're in the championship game tomorrow. They're an 8 seed? So you're telling me that Ohio State is the 8th best team in the country because the only reason that they were the 8th seed is because they didn't win their conference tournament championship. That to me is utterly laughable. Just because you win in a Big 4 conference does not mean that you should be a 4 seed. There in no world should fucking Arizona State have been a 4 seed. Now, did they play well? They actually played out of their fucking mind. But in no world did they deserve to be a 4 seed. At fucking all.
Just to Boto's point before we continue, he said, "How many regular seasons college basketball games?" I don't watch any college basketball. I don't even really watch. I don't like college basketball because
I actually like college basketball better than I like the NBA.
It's devoid of. I'm gonna say professionalism. It's the wrong term, but it's devoid of the elite level defense you usually see.
No, I think the defense is actually better in college basketball.
See the defense more because the players
actually let them fucking bump each other. You fucking tough guy in the NBA.
College basketball it's not elite. They would fail at everything they're doing in college basketball if they went up to the NBA. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, the calls and shit like that. All I'm saying is that it's like watching. It's like watching people play at the YMCA versus people watching college basketball. What would you rather see? Like, it doesn't have the same intensity. It doesn't have the same skill.
I don't know what college basketball. I don't know what college
basketball. The skill is just not there. You don't have the skill. The skill difference is massive.
The guys that play in the NBA, most of them came from college basketball.
A lot of them either.
That is not true.
But a lot of so yes. People come from college basketball, but a full team of college basketball players aren't going to end up on the NBA. For the most part, you'll get a couple. The rest will scrub out, or the others won't even have interest. This is where you have those like black holes in either defense or offense that you don't have in the NBA. I don't like. It's just amateur. It's like watching indie film versus.
I would rather watch that than watch LeBron run around bitching at a fucking referee because he got touched. That's a foul. He fouled me.
No, don't get me wrong. I don't like the diva aspect of the major league, the NBA, but like the skill level is so it's astronomical between the two that it's hard for me to watch college basketball and respect and anything that happens and even see like the future for anybody in it.
Well, I think college basketball runs their tournament way better than the NBA does.
Yeah, it's a smaller scope, right? And I'm
actually it's a bigger scope. 64 fucking teams. Come on, man, it's pretty big.
Yeah, I know, but like Boto said, the only thing anybody cares about is March Madness.
You know what? I don't know if that's true. There is a lot of people that love college basketball.
I don't like college basketball. I mean, it's not like I couldn't watch it, but when I watch it, it's like watching people fumble at doing something that they should be doing better.
I don't know if I agree with that.
It's okay. If it was so good, they would be as good as they were in college when they went to the NBA, and 98% of them are not.
Okay, well that's fine. Because it's actually a team concept in college basketball. It's not one fucking guy.
It's a team concept on a lot of NBA teams.
Is it though?
It is.
Is it?
It is.
Sure. I don't agree with that.
It 100% is. There's very few teams that
yes,
won the
there's
championship.
5 guys on the court at one time, but one guy has to touch the ball every fucking time.
Depending on who the person is, no.
Steph Curry, LeBron James.
Come on, man.
Yeah, LeBron James is also fucking passing it to everybody under the sun. Steph Curry is a shot taker, but he's not making. Steph Curry averages 30 points a game. Their team wins by 120. Where's everything else coming from?
Yeah. I think I like college basketball way better than I do the NBA. They actually play. They actually let them be physical. I'm not saying that they're not physical in the NBA, but they just are not. I see more whining in professional basketball.
The problem I find with professional basketball, and it's like borrowed from soccer, is the play acting is fucking bullshit. The one thing you'll get with college basketball is you get people that have no hope to be in the NBA.
They do the fun thing in college basketball, too.
I know, but some of the players in college basketball is like, fuck this shit. I'm elbowing this motherfucker. I'm never going to the NBA. That kind of stuff I can get behind. The problem I have with college basketball is like all the defense is way worse for the most part. It's all situational defense where it's like, that guy blocked 5 shots. I'm like, yeah, but did he deserve to block 5? We're just idiots going up to lay it up. What was Boto saying? Here's the thing. When you're filling out your brackets, I don't really bet on sports. I have a fantasy basketball league that I bet on every year with the same people. But it's more like for fun. I don't fill out brackets for pretty much anything. I can have an informed opinion on who I think is going to win, who's going to lose.
So I just hope next year that when they do college football, they change the way they're doing the ranking system. They're going to have to come up with a better way. Like if Oregon deserved to be the number 1 team because they won every game, they're the only undefeated team in college football, I think.
I don't know how college football does it, but I actually hate the way hockey does it.
What do you mean? Like
it's like you have to win your division, and even a division that is filled with teams with a worse record than you are not making it.
Well. So the thing with the reason I like hockey so much is I don't know, man.
It's not the best of the best. It's the best of the divisions, and you can have a shit fucking division, but still make it to the play. I don't get that. It's like, why would you want to see a team
right now?
This is the way it is in the NFL.
It's terrible. Buffalo. It's terrible.
Buffalo has the worst division in all of football that it plays in, and so therefore it ends up in the playoffs every year.
Well, Buffalo.
Why would you want to see a team?
I think if Buffalo played in the AFC North, they probably would have won the division this year.
Why would you want to see a team that in this scenario was 55% win rate versus a team that has 65% win rate that doesn't get in the playoffs? In a harder division, which means they're playing the teams that are above them more often. It just doesn't make any fucking sense, really.
Oh, I do. Well, okay. So
I don't I can understand this, like David versus Goliath, but it's like statistically they are worse, and probably on the field and on the rink they are worse. Yet here they go. It makes sense, I guess, if you want to build some of the like smaller teams up, but make it about wins and losses. That's all that really fucking matters, not divisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I know why they do it, and I think it's a smart way to do it. It's the only way to do it.
I get it's financial reason, and I understand it.
Well, I don't like the fact.
It's that
if
electoral
York-
college
if
reason.
If New York and Los Angeles played each other in the first round, man, that's a lot of fucking traveling for no fucking reason. Have that you can't. That's why they do it the way they do it. That's too much.
Well, I mean, they also have like there is no reason that you can't just shorten the season and extend the playoffs, or just extend the playoffs, or whatever you fucking want to do. Like you don't have. There's no real time constraint. You can remake these things. It's not like everything's not set in stone. You do have court wild card in hockey. I mean, basically half the goddamn league makes the playoff. It's true, but I mean, I can tell you from not being a Leafs fan, but living in Toronto, where we're in one of like the toughest divisions all the time. It's like the wild card is basically a team that would probably make it to like halfway through the fucking playoffs, but don't get a chance because they can't.
Not the Maple Leafs. Not the Maple Leafs. They can't get past the first fucking round.
Yeah, I don't really care. You can insult them all you want. It's deserved.
I like hockey. I like the way hockey does things. I do love another thing they do is the low seed takes on the high seed. I don't like how basketball does it.
That's the same though. Low seed takes on the high seed.
Mm-mm. That's not how they do it.
That is how they do it.
No, they don't. Basement.
How do they do it then?
So the one seed takes on the 8 seed. If the 8 seed beats the 1 seed, they take on the 4 or 5 seed. They don't take on the 2 seed or the 3.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about second round? Yeah, that's how the brackets like devised for the 7th seed to take on the 2nd seed.
But in hockey, if the 1 seed loses, the 8 seed takes on the higher seed in the next round. The highest seed left in the next round. The 8 seed always has to fucking play the highest seed.
Okay, okay, you had to explain that because at the beginning of the bracket, it's the way.
So the NFL does it. There's 7 teams in each conference, and the 1 seed gets a bye. The 2 seed plays the 7 seed. The 3-6, 4-5 concept, and the way it happened is, if the Packers would have won, they were the 7 seed. They would have played Detroit. But the way it was is the Commanders beat, I can't even remember who they played, but Tampa Bay.
Yes.
They ended up having to play Detroit. I mean, they beat Detroit. So Detroit lost. And then if it would have gone to fruition 1-4, 2-3, it would have been Philadelphia and Tampa Bay, and then Washington and or not Washington, but whoever the 4 seed was.
I think, and again, I think I like the idea of like if you're gonna be the worst, fucking you got to take on the first and the second best and this type of shit. I agree with that. I know why basketball does it because it's fucking 7-game series and they want money.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like, well, you want the most competitive second round that you can find. I agree with you in concept, but I can see why they do it. Not that I agree with it on the second round side, because all I was thinking about, like, well, it does start like worst, first, best, and everything like that.
Yes, but
they are definitely. This is the TV. This is the TV deal saying we want more.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that. With that is 100%. Basketball also, like, I mean, sort of.
Basketball's kind of gone away from where they have the East and West. They don't have divisions really anymore.
Yeah, I prefer East and West versus divisions personally, but I could see an argument for either. I just don't like the idea of having a team that's just on paper and statistically worse, getting a shot, taking away a shot from a team that's statistically better. just because one division is fucking log jammed with good talent. Because if you think about it, like if you're like, oh, our division is filled with like the top 3 teams, the only way to
Nope.
actually do anything are top 2 teams, right?
Also, the NBA's like, nope, we're gonna every round is now 7 games.
And I disagree with that personally.
Hockey's been doing that for years. It's always been 7
think
games.
basketball should be 5-game series and then the final 7 games. That's it for me. I also don't think back-to-backs should ever exist anymore in basketball.
What do you mean?
Like they have back-to-back games.
Championships or games?
Back-to-back games shouldn't exist. Playing Friday and then Saturday, back-to-back games. Because of all the TV deals and how they have to handle it, the season's 82 games long. What you get in back-to-back games, you either buy a ticket to the first game and realize the star player you wanted to see is not playing, or you buy a ticket to the second game and realize the star player you want to see isn't playing.
Not playing.
Like this is the rest games. Because they're not going to be like, oh, you came back from an injury 6 months ago. We're not playing you back-to-back games. It's bad for the fans. It's bad for everybody. Just shorten the season. Give us 62 games and the whole playoffs, and everything's fine. None of the players can fucking do it. Instead, they implemented a rule where you can't be considered for like end of the year fucking awards unless you play a certain amount of games.
Right.
So that up and coming player who's dealing with knee inflammation is gonna be like, well, I gotta get out there. I want to be considered for rookie of the year. It's like, well, if you go out there, you might bust up your knee. I need to play the game.
So baseball's changed now. Baseball is 3-game series, best of 3 series. Nobody goes on the road in the first round, and then it's the best of 5, and then a best of 7, then a best of 7 again.
Was that recent? Because I don't remember it being like that.
Yeah, it is like
just
2
as
years
last
ago.
season,
2
yeah.
years ago, they started
Baseball's
doing
making. You know what? It's so weird because baseball is probably the most progressive sport out there in terms
What do you
of
mean?
changing to work in the real world now.
What
Like
do you mean?
they've made rule changes where like, oh, we get to extra innings. You're gonna have a runner on second base. The infield
I
fly
hate that.
rule.
I'm a purist, and I fucking hate that fucking rule.
But
I
it,
hate it. I
they're-
don't.
I personally, the infield fly rule, I don't even fully understand.
So
because
the
it seems like
infield
nobody
fly
cares.
rule, if there's a guy on first and second, and there's a pop fly, the player can drop it, and it can be a force out. So they call the infield fly rule, and the runner has his own I can't even think of the word now, to move to the next base.
Wait, it's
which
to steal the
would
base,
be-
basically, or kind of like in that respect.
So it's an automatic out, is what it is. You can't. So a fielder drops the ball.
But can the player know if it's infield flag and just start running as soon as I know it is?
No,
Or do
because
they have to get a tag? Like they
usually
would?
the umpire calls it right away.
Oh, okay. Too confusing. Don't care.
It's not
the
confusing.
the second base thing. They want to make the
Second
game go
base thing.
faster, but
do you mean?
Run around.
I know why they did it. They don't do it in the playoffs, though.
I don't like putting a runner in scoring position because this, to me, is the advantage of the first team. I don't know. I guess it's the same advantage either way, but it's stupid to me because if you can actually then like kind of build your team. I don't know. We're gonna sub this guy out for a guy that can run real fast or steal bases, whatever. It's like I don't like that aspect of the game where you're.
So the way that it goes is the player that got the third out actually has to start on second. So you could actually start with your slowest player on second base. You don't get to start.
You don't get to choose. You don't get to choose.
You don't
Okay,
get to choose.
that's a bit better. Boto.
I still don't like the rule because I think it takes away from the game. It does add a little bit more excitement, but to me, it takes away from the game.
But it's like starting like overtime in hockey with no goalies. I don't know. So Boto says infield pop fly rule is just an automatic out. So it's basically eliminating error.
No, it's not eliminating an error. It's eliminating them from dropping the ball.
That's an error.
No, God damn it. Listen. It eliminates them from the player from just purposely dropping the ball, because then it becomes a ground ball. Nobody moves, right? Because you're tagging up on a pop fly, because you can't just be off the bag. You have to go back to the bag and touch the base and then go. The player runs back to the bag and has to wait for the guy to catch the ball. If he doesn't catch it, he drops it. The player can take off and run. But usually, if he does that, he's going to be fucking out anyway, because the player's just going to pick up the ball and throw it to the third baseman. It's going to end up being a double play every single time. It has nothing to do.
Why don't you just make it illegal for players to drop the ball on purpose? I guess it's like
They do.
he tried to do it, but he faked it.
But it's at the player's discretion. That's the word I was looking for.
It's
Whether or not he wants to take off, and there is no player dumb enough to take off and fucking run after.
It's to get rid of the idea of a player like acting like they were going to grab the ball but missed it on purpose. That's what I think. Right?
You
Is that
can
right?
tell when a player does it, though.
Well, this is the reason for the rule, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Baseball though baseball has been like the one sport that's been trying to speed it up.
They do have a pitch clock now.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like, baseball is the most progressive sport in trying to be a bit more modernized and trying to speed it up.
A little bit better. They do have the quick replay on some plays where if there's a drop or that they call the catch, and they'll go back and look at it, and they'll actually, all touchdowns are reviewed. All turnovers are reviewed.
The way I look at it, right? Like every sport, football, any sport, should have like a fucking AI assisted referee that the refs know nothing about, but is calling the play fair. And if it gets challenged, you take 2 seconds. The AI assisted referee says this is a ball, this is a fumble, this is that, and that's it. You don't need to go to like, oh, we're gonna go to the cameras for 10 hours. Get that fucking. Why do we even need to do that? You have the ability, like baseball especially, has the ability to fucking like.
So in college football, every play is reviewed. Every play. And they will buzz down to the referee and say, "You need to take a look. We're going to take a." So the refs down in the field in college football don't even get to review the play. The review booth reviews the play.
My question to you is, why do you think? What's the specific reason basketball viewership is down like 20%?
Because the players are fucking prima donnas.
Do you think that's just a reason or the reason?
Part of it. That's part of it. I think people that
younger people aren't watching.
Nobody, yeah.
No, there's not any younger
basketball around here.
Not just basketball, but like sports in general, especially like, okay, first of all,
football is just growing and growing here.
I would say that like sports entertainment being ingested through like cable television is declining no matter what. Just like everything else through cable television. Because people will watch like highlights on Twitter or use an app to watch the game or something like that.
And those are the people that I never want to have fucking telling me.
What does it matter the medium as long as
I don't want to listen to anyone those people that watch that shit and just it's the same thing with wrestling fans. Oh, I seen this. I watched the YouTube video of this. Okay. Did you watch the whole fucking show? There was a reason why they did these things. It's not like that's how I feel when it comes to watching the little snippets of things. You can take
but you can't like, I mean, even you said like, I put it on the background. So are you essentially aren't you essentially taking snippets of things?
Yeah, but my point is like if I'm for football, I will not listen to anybody say, well, that so like the panel the beginning of the game, the Packer
Okay,
game last
Boto,
week.
Yeah.
I will say, Boto, I agree with you. Wokeness way too political with basketball. They got the Black Lives Matter pasted on anything, and I'm like, get this fucking shit out of here. It has nothing to do with racism. It has everything to do with political pandering. Um, the other thing, everybody and their grandmother has fantasy football teams, not so much basketball. Depends on where you live, man. I can tell you that 100%. Nobody
I,
here has
I
fantasy
think
football.
fucking fantasy sports is ruining sports
Why?
personally. Why would I want to fucking put somebody on my team? Like, let's say that I have Caleb Williams as my quarterback and they're playing the Packers. Why would I want Caleb Williams to throw 4 fucking touchdowns? I don't. I hope Caleb Williams gets bent in half.
Fantasy football is
So-
not. Fantasy football is a strategy game with statistics. It's not.
Yeah.
I
it's-
want my favorite team to do this. Like that. When I look at sports in that way, it's more like I want Miss Captain America to beat Hulk.
I
I
don't.
don't give a shit about that aspect of talk.
I'm not a fan of fantasy sport. I think it's ruining sports.
I don't think so. I think if sports
think it-
actually, I actually think if a lot of sports kind of embrace the fantasy aspect and were um, more clear with like
I don't. Okay,
injuries and things like that.
Here's where I really fucking hate it. When I sit down and I watch a football show when they're analyzing the game, and some dumb fucking cunt comes on there and tells me, "Well, he scored 25 points in fantasy football last week." I don't give a shit.
Well, I mean, it
I don't
depends. Okay,
care.
are you discussing fantasy football or are you discussing real football? Because they're two
They're
different things.
discussing real fucking
Yeah.
football.
So I mean, that's two different things. This I agree with you on. I will play fantasy basketball, but it has no bearing on real basketball. It's either I'm consuming the sport as the sport should be played, or I'm playing a game that has to do with statistics and the sport is involved. The one good thing that I like about fantasy sports is it gives me insights on players I might not know about, on things happening on other teams. It's a benefit to sports. I don't know. I would never agree with you saying it's a negative to sports. It's the exact opposite.
If there is one sport that I would do it for because I don't have a favorite team, is I just love hockey. I would probably do fantasy hockey.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
I don't have a horse in the race, so I don't care.
But fantasy basketball is not about horse in the race. It's not about fandom. But at the same time, it can create fandom in people that aren't fans already. So I like.
No, but you get these fucking people that'll sit there and say, "I don't know why this guy is playing on the field."
Well, these are idiot. Like you can't. Okay,
you didn't do very good.
If I'm going to discuss real sports with you, if I'm going to discuss real sports with you, I'm not going to be referring to statistics on an Excel sheet in fantasy sports.
That's what a lot of people are referred to.
Then they're fucking idiots no matter what.
They're
Whatever
retarded. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why having a conversation with half these fucking people. Well, he didn't do very good last week. He didn't score me any points. Nobody cares.
Well, it's
all
about what
points. He didn't play well. It happens.
It's all about what it's context. If I'm talking about my fantasy team, that's one thing. If I'm talking about the Raptors or the Leafs or any other team that you might like, it's a completely different thing. And anybody that can't differentiate that, I'm like fucking questioning, how dumb are you?
I just don't want to have to root against. I don't want to have to root against.
I like this is where me and you differ because this I can't root against. I don't root really for anything anymore. It's a business. It's like rooting for Apple versus Samsung. You realize that?
What?
You heard
Apple
me.
Oh, I got you.
It's the exact same thing.
But when you've loved a team for as long as I have, this is where I just can't. I would never, ever, ever. I did it that one year, and I I knew I was. I mean, I won, but I'm just like, I just don't care. It's like I had Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams on my team. That's all I cared about. Everything else I didn't give a shit about. I'll analyze the game. That's my real passion, is analyzing the actual game. But I've had people come at me, well, he didn't do good in fantasy this week. I don't think he's that good of a ball player. He had one bad game. What the fuck are you talking
fantasy is not... you can't fucking hinge on fantasy to talk about anything but that's real, first of all. It's
Right.
like talking about, like, Chad Gable lost every match this year. I think he's a terrible wrestler.
That's
You know? Like,
That is the equivalent.
it's
Yeah.
stupid.
Right.
Realize the realm in which you're living in.
I
The one thing I
can't-
will say with
When
fantasy
it comes
though,
to football, I can't have a serious conversation with somebody that's just watching a YouTube video of a play. They aren't getting the full context of what happened.
for me, I like fantasy basketball because it keeps me in the know for basketball enough to be like, it's not just, oh my God, this player is released. I'm going to have to look at what they were doing, who they were with, the highlights of what they're doing, what they could be expected to do on a new team. It kind of keeps me in the know of sports, even though I'm not watching the show. Though I will never talk to somebody that's watching fucking every game in the NBA and be like, well, I think this guy is fucking garbage because he got me 2 points yesterday on fantasy. Then you're a
Right.
fucking idiot.
Right.
It's
So,
bottom
like-
line.
Like I was telling Heather, the Ravens played the Bills tonight, and I said, the Ravens are not going to win this game or even be remotely close to winning this game if they don't start running the fucking football. And as soon as they did, they got back in the fucking game, and then they got fucking stupid again and fucking went away from what they were fucking doing. They ended up losing by 2, but it's like,
Honestly, this is why I look at anybody that will rely on statistics for every argument they have.
yeah, you
It's like
can't.
statistics are people are like
They
stats are
change
half,
every game.
stats are half the story. I'm like, stats are about 15 to 20% of the story, and that is it. If you think you can garner more from statistics, you're an idiot.
I mean, statistics are a part of it, but it's not the whole story.
It's nowhere even near. It's not even 50%. People would say 50% for a long time. It's not.
If it
50%.
wasn't, I will tell you this right now. There's a lot of people shitting on Lamar Jackson. Like he can't win the big one. He's a choke artist. If it wasn't for Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens wouldn't have even had a chance to win that fucking game. So for everybody saying that, you can shut the fuck up. Well, he threw an interception. Fucking and
That was only his fourth
What's your
one
fucking
for the
point?
entire season. Meanwhile, your fucking hero, Josh Allen, has 7 interceptions for the whole season.
But I mean,
Shut your fucking mouth.
every interception is not the same. I'm gonna say yes, it's somebody taking the ball, but you don't know from the eye level of the person throwing it if they didn't even see the person. With all the fucking shit that's going on in the field, people just equate everything to mean the same, and this is where statistics fail. It's like he might have not even there's times where there's a bad throw and it gets intercepted. Right?
so I'll
There's
give you a
times
prime
where-
example.
He doesn't have the drone shot. He's got the field shot, right?
So they did a drone shot tonight, and I don't remember if it was it in the Ravens game?
No, I think it was the Eagles game.
No, it was the Ravens game where Lamar Jackson threw behind everybody, and I said, "Oh, the coverage." But I'll give you a prime example. Jordan Love threw an interception last week. His receiver slipped, and it was a timing throw. And when he went to throw it, there's a guy standing right there. Where Jordan Love threw that ball is where that receiver was supposed to be. So it's kind of a play where damned if you do, damned if you don't. The interception, although, yes, you can blame Jordan Love for throwing it, he didn't know his receiver was going to slip and fall because his receiver was wide the fuck open and he was coming over the middle. And it happens. It happens.
Well, I mean,
We're not-
It's perspective.
Everybody
right?
shit. Oh, this is the worst game. This guy sucks. He's terrible. You know what? It was a timing throw. It fucking happens. He's throwing the ball to a spot on the field where his receiver is supposed to be.
And this happens in basketball where like you'll have a player throw and he throws it into the audience because the person that was supposed to be there isn't there.
Right.
And everybody will blame the person throwing the ball, but they
Instead
don't
of
realize that that's how it's
just
fucking written up. And instead they'll be like, "Oh my god, why did he throw to this person?" It's just the like, it's all perspective, and everybody's gonna fucking. This is why stats don't matter as much as everybody fucking harkens on about it. It's like, "Oh my god, they did this much, they made these many errors." It's like, well, were you in their shoes with their perspective? Maybe the person was late. Maybe the fucking. Maybe the turnover wasn't their fault, yet they're going to be blamed for it because that's how the sport works.
Yep, because he was the one that was touching the ball.
My point is, you don't get this unless you watch it. This is why anybody talking about fantasy sports to somebody watching the sport should just probably shut the fuck up. Unless you're talking to somebody else about fantasy sports, it's not really relevant to how they're actually doing, who they actually are, or how they're actually playing.
So prime example. Yes, Saquon Barkley had 205 fucking yards, but he had two or three big runs.
Yeah.
And that's where most of his yards came from. If you take those 3 runs out of there, I think he might have 21 carries for like 30 fucking yards. So don't fucking tell me that Saquon Barkley had a good day. He just had 3 big runs.
Well, I mean, fantasy basketball or fantasy anything doesn't take padding stats, as they call it, into account. Where like a couple things really go well for basketball, it's garbage time, and you put out a player that's better than everybody else in the thing. They get fucking 10 rebounds in 5 minutes in garbage time. All of a sudden, it's like fantasy wise, oh my god, this guy's really good. Context, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like this is where like if you're playing fantasy sports and you have no idea of what's happening and you're not going to investigate what's happening in real life, you're probably going to do pretty poorly.
Yes.
But that's fine. He had 3 big runs, Boto, but that take away those 3 big runs and he wouldn't have had a good day. That's my point. Because you're not watching the game. This is what we're trying to say. What Basement is saying. If you didn't see those 3 big runs, you would say, "Oh, he had a fantastic 24 carries, 205 yards." Yeah, because of 3 big runs.
But I can
Not
also
because
say
he averaged. I think it was like 6 yards a carry. He actually did very little in the game. He just had 3 big runs, and they were all for touchdowns, I think. So 3 big runs? Yeah. If you want me to be honest with you, it wasn't because of Saquon Barkley. It was because of his offensive line doing a really good job at fucking holding.
It's just a difference. Like I could be like, Anthony Davis had 5 blocks. He must have been a defensive menace. Well, he got 5 blocks in the last 5 minutes of the game, and everybody else blew by him and scored. So he actually played terrible defense. His stats are, this is why I'm like, it's not 50-50. It is like 15 to 20% max because context is key. You're going to have things like.
I've watched Anthony Davis play. He's good.
He's a good defender. He's a good player overall. He's made of paper mache. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, if you want to understand sports, you love sports, watch sports. If you want to play a game based on statistics where it does benefit you to watch the sport, play fantasy anything. This is why I think fantasy is a good thing for sports because people that like the challenge and like stats might get into the sport themselves.
No, and that's fine, and I'm okay with that. But I personally, I can't do it because it takes away from.
I get that. I get it
from what I'm rooting for.
Well, I have no soul. I like the Raptors, but I don't love any sports team. I'll never love a sports team because I know it's a business, and I don't love any business because I know it's a business.
What if you owned your own business? Would you love that?
For sure, because it's mine.
You're a hypocrite.
Well, you don't own the Packers.
I could if I wanted to, but I don't think I could afford one of their fucking
Well,
stocks.
then you're a hypocrite.
I would never do it. I would never do it. I would
mean,
never. I hate that. This is what I really hate. This is what I really hate about Packer fans. I have a stock in them. I should have a fucking say so. And this is why you shouldn't have a fucking say so.
I don't think if
meant that you think Jordan Love isn't the fucking answer. Jordan Love is probably the 5th best quarterback in the fucking league right now. And you're going to tell me you don't think that he's worth it? Get the fuck out of here. You're a fucking clown.
if you want to remain a fan of something and keep that alive, don't own it.
Yeah.
Because, like, look at cars. I was a fan of this car, and then it became a lemon. Fuck this fucking manufacturer. I was a fan of this. It fucked me over. Anything that, like, you give a chance to that you're a fan of that you have then put money into.
I have never
Not great.
bought a car based on the brand of car that I like. Because I just think of a car as something that I'm going to get into and drive to a place where I have to look at people that I don't want to have to look at.
Every time I've bought a car, I've only bought 2 cars in my life, but every time I've done it, I've done some research on like the model of the year to see what the world rates it. Yes, it's a fucking 15%. It means 15%, but it still means something. And then I go out and I drive the car. If I don't like the car, I ain't buying it. I don't give a shit. If I don't like to drive, I'm not buying it. If it feels cheap, I'm not buying it. So, I mean, you'll never get... Statistics mean fucking nothing. And so many companies are, like, so dependent on them. My company is so dependent. My work, oh my God, man. It's like, yeah, statistics everywhere. I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots.
So I am the statistics guy for my job. That's why they gave me a certain position where I'm at. So I do all the reports and stuff. So I do all the analytics for it. Yeah. I love doing it. I love statistics and stuff.
I love statistics. I don't love statistics implementation into work.
I do
very much. I feel like it does have value, but people overvalue it. My entire job is almost based on statistics that make no fucking sense.
So the reason that he just, it's something that he can take back, not so much where, hey, you only did 5% this last time.
Yeah,
you
but
need
people
to do
present
more.
it like
That's not why we're doing it. It's just something fun for me. He's like, he's trying to keep me interested in my job because he doesn't want to lose me.
My job presents statistics as gospel, which is a huge problem.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. I mean, I'll tell him. I said, this is where we did last quarter. This is what, this is what we did at this quarter last year, whatever. That's the kind of stuff that I do. It's not, hey, you need to do this or else you're going to fucking lose your job. Yeah, that's not what
I just don't like a lot of workplaces really do this where they rely on like numbers to like classify people. And I'm like, you know what? Like, there's a lot of traits that people bring to the table that you can't classify. And to shove them off because they don't fit in a certain box instead of either helping them be better or kind of like taking what they can do and running with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Fuck work. I want to quit. I just got a 6-day work week. It was pretty bad.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You don't have to apologize. You have nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm. I'm on vacation all this week, so
I don't have a vacation until February.
Yeah, I get you.
I mean, I can go on vacation now, but I don't want to.
But yeah, I don't have anything else. Was that all I had? That's all we had. You didn't have anything, did you?
No.
I think I'm good.
We'll get a little more from Boto here before we go. Yeah, my job does that shit, or they're always comparing me to a rookie driver. And I got 23 years of experience. I get mad and yell at people they compare me to the rookie drivers. I agree. I mean, people seem to a lot of new age jobs, and this is all I'm going to say before we go. A lot of jobs that are taking place in our new world kind of disregard experience,
They do.
which is not. Yeah, you can quantify it in the numbers of years you worked for somewhere, but you can't replace experience.
My dad, this is my dad worked for like some elite car companies, like Bergstrom. They're all over the country, and they ended up letting him go because he wasn't producing. Like he wasn't getting one car in and one car out, them getting another car and doing it. My dad would make sure that car was fixed. My dad's whole purpose, yes, he was in the business of fixing cars, but if he fixed the car, he fixed it so you wouldn't have to come back fucking 2 months later and have it
Yep.
have the same fucking problem. My dad would fix it so that it doesn't happen again.
That's the big problem now. Like companies don't.
It's quantitative, not qualitative.
Exactly. And you're going to have that rollover where it's like, yeah, we can just train another one. No, you can't just train another one. Because once you lose this person and every staff that works with them will know you ain't getting another one of these. Not for a very long fucking time.
So for my job, it is quantitative, but it's more to me, and I've told my supervisor this, I'm more of a qualitative person. Would rather help just 4 people than try to take 1,500 fucking calls in one fucking day and have them this whole Christmas season. Hey, I'm just looking for financial help.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not listen to the briefing that I gave you?
You can't get that right now? It's a process?
You call them and they will help you. I mean, listen to what I say.
Yeah, oh God. Don't even start me on listen to what I say because nobody listens. Nobody listens, man.
So I'm more of a qualitative than quantitative. I do have to put some quantitative stuff in, and I do.
I'm in the middle because when I recognize something that either can't be fixed right away, won't be fixed right away, or doesn't need me to talk to you for 10,000 hours, I'm kind of going to fucking get to the point.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that do take finessing at work. The problem is my workplace doesn't operate on that idea. It never really impacts me because I end up being where I need to be because of that. You know, I'm never going to prioritize. I'm never going to talk to somebody for 10,000 years. And if I talk to somebody for 10,000 years, I'm going to talk to the next 40 people for 3 minutes.
Right.
So, but it's not even a choice. It's just the way it works, right?
Right. Yeah.
But it is like one of those things where I feel, and my workplace does it, and I brought it up before. I'm like, you need to create a workplace people want to stay in. You can't have this revolving door. And I can say there is like we're 50-50, where 50% stays, 50% revolve. But my department especially, oh my God, we're hit by the revolving door, and everybody that comes in is worse than the last person because I think people are just getting fucking stupider because the education system isn't like trying them as hard. I remember my sister was like teaching people at a college, right? And she's like, 50% of these people can't actually write at like a grade 9 level.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, well,
it's worse now with the help of AI.
Yeah. Welcome to the real world now. I don't know. I mean, when it comes down to it, I can go on about work, but I gotta pee and go to sleep because
I'm sitting here falling asleep.
Time is now.
Cheers. All right, I'll let you know how the inauguration goes.
Well, I'll know too because I've been paying attention to that for my fucking investments. Donald Trump's fucking crypto fucking meme coin fucked me. Fuck you, Donald Trump. I'll be fixing it tomorrow. Anyways, everybody out there, Alpha, Boto, Frank, anybody else that was in the chat, Jurgen, all you guys, Have a good night. We will see you again on Wednesday, unless something else comes up before then. So thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
Peace out, bitches and gentlemen.
Good night, guys.
Night night.